two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is my partner in crime, Sgt McClusky. There's a mosquito. Just started flying around my head.
Around my head?
No, my head. It just popped up. I'm being invaded. I'm being invaded. All right, sorry. I just saw him. Generation X Gaming, we're live Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern. We cover gaming news and we rant. Welcome. How's it going, chat? If you'd like to listen to us live, come here 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at 30NSG. And if you'd like to listen to us after the fact, when I get my ass onto it, it'll be on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. I haven't updated it yet. We're like 5 episodes behind there. But you got plenty of episodes to listen to ahead of time. There's 377 episodes that you can watch over the internet. So take that time and go ahead and do it. Chat, we got 2 new emotes from last week. We got the Trash Night emote, which is the trash, and then we have Mr. Salty. Mr. Salt, what's that, Sarge?
Is that what my background looks like? The green screen all busted up?
That's correct. You got to move it up forward a little.
Yeah, okay.
You got to move it up. Oh, actually, you know what I could do? I could do you one up better. Yeah, move it up a little bit, and then I can crop you out a little bit more. I can help you here, Sarge. Professionalism. Here we go. Watch. I'll do this a little bit.
When the show started, I'm like, it looks like Sanford and Son all of a sudden.
I gotcha. There you go. Crop that out. Let's crop this out, and now we have a podcast. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I started to hear the Sanford and Son theme. I can't
believe I just don't know that song. I haven't seen that show in 35, 40 years. So on today's show, Sarge, we got live service games gone off the deep end with insulting expensive cosmetics. We're going to be talking about the upcoming potential title for the new Indiana Jones video game that's coming out on Xbox. We're going to talk about the Xbox Direct. We're going to talk about there are simply too many games to play, says head of publishing at Nikon. We're going to talk about, not Nikon, Nikon. We're going to talk about Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League a little bit. The NDA got lifted, and all is good now in the world of video games because now people can say what they want to say instead of being tight-lipped. We're also going to talk about the drama that happened this week with the lifting of the, on January 9th, they lifted where people could speak about it, but only a select few people could speak. So we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about Fallout London. We're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. We're going to talk about Starfield. We're going to talk about Starfield mods. We're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption. We're going to talk about Bethesda in general. We're going to talk about a little game that could be the next day before, which is called Quinfall. We're going to talk about RoboCop, and we're going to talk about the DICE Awards. They just announced their nominations for all their games categories and whatnot. So we'll show that on the screen in a little bit. So if you'd like to help us out in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Or you can do absolutely nothing and just enjoy the show as is. All right, Sarge. It's, let's see. Well, actually, before we get to what we've been playing, what have you been up to? It's been another week. Anything exciting happened before we get into the video game talk?
No, nothing exciting happened.
Nothing non-exciting happened.
This is just like the beginning of the year, so it's like stuff's gotta getting back into this groove of things. Holidays over, reality starts to set back in. We'll see what happens.
You should live where I live because I always have excitement. Okay. The other day, always have excitement. The other day, it was the first day back to school. It was Tuesday. My son had to go back to school. Got to get up early anyway. He's got to get up at like 7. But I got woken up at 5:30 in the morning because my wife wakes me up and says, "There's a possum at the back door," and she's trying to get outside to do her things. So I get woken up out of a dead sleep, and I have to go outside, and I'm trying to move a possum away from the door, and I have a shovel in my hand.
Don't you have a dog?
I do. He went around the house, not the dog, the possum, to the other section where he can't reach. And so he was over by the door, and the possum refused to move. And then when I went out there to try to move him, he ran underneath the cat house I built. Okay, so then he was just chilling underneath the cat house, and now my wife, every time she walked outside for the next 2 hours, was going, woo, 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 like trying to make loud noises so it wouldn't come out when she was walking by. And then I had to take my son to school at 7, and when I walked outside, the dog and the possum are head-to-head with each other, and the possum is about to bite my dog, and my dog is barking just letting him have it. And it just, right? And he starts to move a little bit, so I wanted to kill him, but I didn't kill him. Okay, I was being nice in the morning because I didn't really feel like bashing a possum with a shovel and then coming back later to clean it up. So I kind of was just being nice, right? I was just being nice, right? And this is a true story, sir.
You shot him.
No, I didn't shoot him. But I want to show you guys a picture. I don't have it on my on the screen where I can show you, so I'm going to show you through. This is, and I shit you not, this isn't a live. Well, not live, but this is the possum. And there's the cows all staring at him like, the hell is that? Right? And then the possum was trying to bite the cows through the fence. And then if you can't really see in the picture, but back here is the donkey, who's the guard dog of cattle, okay? And he was terrified of the possum. So he was in the back of all the cows just kind of peeking over going like, what is that? Like, what do you got over there?
I'm pretty sure you can use that as a meme screen, bro.
What's that?
You can use that, the cows with the possum there, you can use that as a meme screen.
Yeah.
For sure. You need to put a little caption on there. Matter of fact, you should make a caption, put it on Discord, and have chat write captions.
Oh, I can tell you already, it's the PlayStation fans looking at the Xbox games that are coming, right? That's a meme right there, right? That's a perfect.
I don't know. We have to let chat fill
we'll
out
let the chat. Well, maybe I'll post it up in Discord and you guys can vote. Yeah, so that's stuff, right? That's stuff that happens in my life on a daily basis.
You're on a farm, to be fair.
It's true. True. I got birds that dive bomb me. I got bats. We got birds that think this is their house and they knock on the window. It's amazing what happens here. We got people that just drive up on my lawn, right, for no reason. It's an amazing experience to have. And this is why I do the podcast, because this is my decompression of.
You could just go to Home Depot, buy one of those blank signs, write on it, "Not a store," and just put it in front of your driveway, "Not a store," and put the arrow facing that way. Just be done with it.
Here, actually, I could probably I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this picture real fast into Discord, and that way I can show you guys a much better picture. I'm just gonna post it in general real fast. General chat. There you go. Okay. Now, let me bring it up real fast so I can show you in Discord. Because you'll get to see the actual the real.
It sounds like the possum's got a mental disorder because he's facing off against a giant dog that can kill him in 2 seconds. He's facing off against giant cows behind a fence. Like he doesn't seem well.
So there you go. There's the possum. There's the cows. They're all staring at like little puppy dogs. Okay, and there's the donkey in the background right over here. He's like, I ain't getting anywhere near that thing. Yeah. Yeah, this possum was not chill. This possum was he was just an asshole. He was looking for a fight. He was attacking my shovel. I wasn't trying to hit him or anything. He was trying to attack the cows. The cows were just like, what's your deal, dude? Did you eat the possum? No, we're not like that. What kind of person do you think I am, Dupless? That my wife just came in. I should have smashed him with the shovel. Yeah, should.
Why?
Well,
He didn't do anything to you.
that's what I said. He didn't do anything to us. Yeah. So, all right. Well, yeah, Florida possum. So that's what I did. Now let's talk about some video games. What we've been playing. All right, Sarge, another week down. What you been playing? Week two of the year. We're in it. Anything different? Anything new?
I mean, I've been playing. I'm grinding for some gear in Division 2. I'm trying to get off the skill build that I have. It's hard to get off a skill build once you have a skill build like the one I have.
You know what they say.
So
Once you go skill build, you never go back.
I've been playing that for a while. But you need to. It's hard to go in there and do some of the content without 4 people, or do the raid without 8 people. So I'm caught doing certain things. I'm trying to get a better build to do legendary or challenging runs, so I don't have to waste time doing the hard runs, because the hard ones drop gear, but they don't drop it high enough for me to advance. So it's like I'm trying to join people's games and see what they're running. You know, like every time there's a call for backup, I kind of go. And I still praise that game for what it did and what it still does to get people to come back in there and keep messing around with it. The variation of the builds makes the game challenging, and I think that's the mainstay of the game and why it's still around. Then I was going through my backlog, and I found MechWarrior 5.
How's that? How's that game?
Well, I didn't realize I was playing it again, and like you guys were talking about that new game that came out, the Battle Mech game, right?
You're talking about Armor Core 6.
Armor Core, yeah. And I talked about how I like mech games, but I like the games where the mechs are big and heavy and they have weight to them type of thing, as opposed to the quick move around type of shoot 'em up game. And so this game has that. Right. And it's actually very, if the game was VR, it'd be amazing. Let's put it that way, because even the beginning setup, when you're like in the hangar ship and all the construction lights are flipping and the mech kind of just turns like this, and it turns, and then the doors open up and you come walking out, and you can do it third person or first person, right? Once again, the shells of the mechs give you the template for which you try to fit the best gear on there to get the best balance of armor and firepower and speed. So depending on the size of the mech that you have, you're trying to balance it out. What I did not know, because I wasn't paying attention, is it's got voice commands.
Oh, that's cool. So you can.
So when you're playing like
actual voice commands.
Yes, like when I target somebody on the screen, I talk into my mic and I go, "Lance, attack my target," and then the guy will go, "Affirmative, sir, on the way," and they all start attacking the guy that I highlighted. I'm like, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know the game did that.
That's cool,
right? Yeah, it's follow me, attack my target, defend me. Like there's like 5 or 6 like commands. I'm like, I didn't even know the game did that. And because I don't read, because I'm too busy trying to relax and play a game, the game's damn co-op. The game's co-op. I didn't even realize it was co-op. Like people could just jump in, run around.
So it's drop in, drop out. Fun?
I don't know, man. I don't pay attention sometimes. I'm just lost in my own world. And
so good news.
You don't pay attention to school. It says, pay attention to stuff.
Someone asked, "Is MechWarrior 5 VR compatible?" And it says Mech Combat is virtual reality. It says this mod enables both Stream VR based and Oculus based headset. Step inside the mech cockpit and become a real mech warrior. So it is in VR.
Awesome.
Yeah. So there you go.
Awesome. Yeah. And the weapon combinations you can do, like you learned, just like anything else, you start off as a scrote, but then you start realizing what kind of combinations you can put in and like how much heat the mech can handle. And I've come up with some insane builds where you get around behind someone and I hit him in the back of the arm and blow the arm off with like 2 shots. Like the guy's arm's just gone. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Right. And the whole thing is that I enjoy it because the whole game's a business. That's the whole thing. Like you're a company, you're a mercenary,
right?
And people hire you to either defend them or attack other people or drop off shipments. And the whole time, everything's money, right? So if I'm attacking something, I'm trying to get the best attack done with the least amount of damage.
It's like it's a business sim disguised as a mech warrior game.
That's what it is. That's what it is, right? So like you can go in there and try to slaughter everything, but if you slaughter everything, your cost benefit ratio doesn't always work out, because if I don't get a bunch of good stuff as salvage, then all my guys are damaged. Then my guys will be out for like 20 days or 30. They'll be out for a month fixing up their mechs. And was the money worth the 30 days not working? Right? That's how it works. right? So then the idea becomes you have to have enough pilots in rotation to where you can cycle in and out mechs, and then you have to make sure you cover your expenses for the month.
I mean,
Otherwise, you go into debt. I'm like, what's going on? Is this a mech warrior game or a business game?
can
I
I
don't
tell
know
you
what's going
something?
on.
Now you're intriguing me, okay? Because now you're talking about the business aspect of it,
But it is.
and now I'm thinking like that's like American Truck Simulator only with mech warriors, right?
I mean, kinda.
I mean, instead of shipping something, you're literally blowing up shit for a living, right?
It took me when I first played it the first
I might
time.
get into this game now.
I was getting crushed because you don't realize what you're supposed to do. Like I know people's intention when you're trying to target people, like people stand still, right? You can't stand still in this game. If you stand still, everything automatically locks onto you and starts shooting, right? You have to your guys always has to be moving, right? You got to try you're basically it's a grudge match, right? The harder levels is a grudge match. There's like 15 mechs on the screen, and it's just an all out brawl, and people are like flying and burning and blowing up, and it's nuts. And the fact that it's co-op and I missed it, I'm dumb. I can't believe I missed its co-op.
Hold on, I'm gonna bring up some gameplay here so I can see what this looks like. Mash says 30. Please no. Please know what? You don't want me to play this game?
Match doesn't like Mech Warrior. It's fine.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
I mean,
I'll tell you what. If I can get the VR experience, I might pop in my VR headset and get into this thing. I mean,
you have to like this kind of game.
I mean, it's a little unrealistic. He's just walking through trees. I'm done. I'm out. So basically, is it just building up your army? Is that what it is? Like building up and expanding your business?
There's a story.
Yeah.
There's the story of the guy. What happened to you? You were up and coming pilot. The guy that was mentoring you sacrificed himself so you could live. The company goes into debt because you were betrayed by a corporation, and so you're coming back from nothing. Like, so you're building from scratch, and then the idea is to take over a certain amount of jobs to get the money to come rolling in. You're supposed to ally with some of the houses, House Steiner in the beginning, and some of the other ones in the middle of the game. And then you're trying to balance who you're going to side with, because if everybody's offering jobs, right? So you have A, B, and C, right? If A offers a job, but the job might be against C, right? So you get the reputation for A, but then C doesn't like you, right? So if you do too many jobs for A and they're always against C, then C becomes your enemy, and then you get attacked more by C because that's all you do is blow their shit up.
Fuck
right?
C.
Some people, you're a mercenary, right? You go where the money is.
Yeah.
So the idea is to pick one or two houses that you really want to side with, and then they give you the best jobs for the best money and the best salvage, and then you have to just deal with the fact that somebody's going to hate you. You have to deal with it. Otherwise, if you try to be Mr. Even Steven and everybody like you at the same time, you never get the good jobs. Because nobody can trust you. That's basically what it comes down to.
I mean, it seems interesting. I might pick this up. I have a lot of games. I'm not going to play it anytime soon. Mash says Truck Simulator. Oh, Mash, you don't know. Ask someone that's a longtime follower of mine. We constantly used to do Sunday Night Drive with American Truck Simulator. Okay.
Bought a steering wheel and he has a hat.
Yeah,
Come
dude.
on.
It's a good old time, right? It's like a road trip with 30. You get in my truck, we drive across the country, and we have good time storytelling as I'm driving across. It's a fantastic time. We also play SnowRunners on here too.
Isn't that where Jack Burton came from the Truck Drivers?
Yeah, when we played American Truck Simulator, yeah. Good old Jack Burton. You know what Jack Burton always says? Jack, me,
and
that's
I finally won a normal match in Dune Spice Wars, a normal match with the Harkonnen, which I think is the easiest team to win with once you figure out the game. So that's what I've been playing this past week. Right, that game's insane.
I've been playing 2 games. I've been playing some Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. I bought it last week before the show. Didn't play it very much. Played it a lot this past weekend and throughout the week. And I have to say, it's a nice little game. I picked it up for $20. There's a lot to it as far as it's a prop hunt type of game, but there's also story beats in between. So You can play by yourself in private matches. You can play co-op with people. You can team up with certain friends, or you can just go matchmaking, whatnot inside. I think I played it. Yeah, I played it on stream on Monday night. Let me bring it up real fast. And I made all the characters. I made all the characters in the animated series as best as I could. Okay, which is pretty fun. So in the very beginning of the game, I made the animated Ghostbusters film or animated series with the characters. Let me see if I can show you these. Right. So here's Egon. Egon, I'm going to walk over to Egon in a second. I got so there's different challenges, different dailies, weeklies. It's not a live service game, okay, but they do support it. There's no microtransaction store. Everything in the game you earn by completing different objectives and different tasks and whatnot. So you grab those, you go do you can pick the side that you want to be. You can either be the ghost or you can be the Ghostbuster, right? So there's Egon over there. I made him. Fast forward. Okay. Yeah. Where'd he go? Do I the person? Yeah, there's Egon. I made him the best I could. There's Ray, and these are the animated characters from the cartoon, right? And then Winston.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you put a mod in here or no?
No, I created them inside the game.
So you basically designed them to look like that.
Yeah, and there's Winston.
That's pretty good.
There's Winston, the animated character. I went online.
How did you get them to look like the animated thing? Is the animation on that specifically looks like
yeah?
them?
So they actually have like hair pieces named after them and stuff like that. They do a really good job. So
that looks really close.
I looked at mine, and then I went online to look at other people's, and there's people online that have a much better build than I do. I literally put them together in about an hour between all of them. I looked at the animated series, looked at the hair pieces and stuff, and they put them in the game. They put them in the game for you to do it. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, so every time you go up every 3 levels, so let's say at level 10, it's a story beat, level 13 is a story beat, level 16 is a story beat, and so on and so forth. You could be a ghost, or you can be the Ghostbusters when you play the actual game. And then let me go to see. This is me as a ghost right now. You can choose the ghost. There's different ghosts that you can choose from, different variations at different levels that you go up. You can go up to level 100, and then you have tenure, meaning you reset. It's like Call of Duty, when you you level up and then reset yourself, prestige. So you can do that in this game 5 times. So you can go up to like level 500 or more if you really want to. And you go up against certain people that know what the hell they're doing. It's hard to beat them, especially as a ghost form. Some are very aggressive. Some people are more lackadaisical when you go up against them. You could do all NPC bots that you're going against. So if you want, let's say you have to collect certain things in the match, like there's mushrooms you have to collect or different collectible things. You don't want to go in there with other people because that's what they'll do. They'll collect the mushrooms. It'll be harder for you to do. So you can go in a private match, and go do all the stuff yourself. Do all the stuff yourself so they don't kind of wreck it for you. So you can get the things a little bit easier if you want. You can change the difficulty level as well. Easy, medium. I'm playing on normal. You can go on super hard or whatnot. And it's pretty fun. So there's like little boards, right? Like a museum, a bar, a place that looks like Chuck E. Cheese type of place. And the whole purpose is that you can either be the ghost and try to haunt the place and try to beat the Ghostbusters, or you can be the Ghostbusters and then try to capture the ghost, obviously, because that's what you do. As a ghost, you have to possess things and haunt things, and the more you do that, your energy level at the bottom goes down, and you try to haunt the whole building. And as you haunt the building, slime starts hanging from the ceilings and whatnot. You have to scare the...
That's actually kind of cool.
To scare the pedestrians inside the actual thing. And then as the Ghostbusters, you have your... your devices. Here, let me go into a match here as a Ghostbuster. And as you can tell, you have to go around trying to spot them. So you're using your EPK or EPK. PK. Thank you.
PKE meter.
Thank you. PKE meter. All right. Use your proton packs. You can kind of cross the streams because you find these rifts. There's 3 rifts in the board, and once you kill the rifts, the other guy can't, like the ghost can't spawn anymore. So you have to either kill the rifts or collect 8 ghosts, right? That's what you have to do. So everyone tries to go for the rifts. You try to find the rifts with your PK
So how do you slow down the Ghostbusters is the question.
You can slime them. You can sabotage their backpacks. You can like do a whole bunch of different. Each ghost has their own abilities, so you can distract them and pretend like the ghost is over here. So you haunt objects and things, so the Ghostbusters think you're over there because they're trying to find you. Right? It's actually a really fun game.
Well, like if one guy's by himself, because let's just say instead of teaming up in a pair, he's by himself. Can you like possess his backpack and knock him out for a while?
You can sneak.
It seems to me that if all the guys are looking for the rifts right away, then it would be hard for you to survive if they get the rift.
No, so what happens is the ghosts, if they're attacking the rift, you can attack them and then grab the rift and run and hide it and put it somewhere else. Right? So
okay.
And then there's other ways that the ghost, he can go through certain walls where you can't. You actually have to go around, right? So there's like certain advantages or disadvantages and stuff to have. So how's
the playability? How's the playability with it?
It's fun. It's a really fun little game. Like me and my son were playing. He's like, Jim, does he have the game? I was like, no, he doesn't have the game. He's like, oh, you should play. It's fun. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do and collect. The one thing I think a Ghostbusters game is missing, and you know me talking about Division all the time, I'm like, this would be an awesome setting for Ghostbusters, right?
We know you want the Division map.
I want Ghostbusters, like third party co-op game. I want to be able to drive Ecto 1 and drive around the city. And just like you were talking about the Mech Warrior having a business, I want to run a business as a Ghostbusters. Like you're running a business, you're doing a ghost, collect the money, upgrade your gear. This game, you do upgrades. You do have upgrades in this game. So as you use the gear, you can level it up each level. I don't know what the top level, I think it's 50 for each of the things. And it's really fun. It's a really fun little game. Again, it was full price a year and a half ago. I paid $20 for it. And there's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out this year. I think they're going to do a cross promotion with that. They have year 2 season things that have come out. So 4 times last year, they updated with a new map and new ghosts. And now I think they're going to come out with more this year. And the story seems pretty intriguing as well. The ghost of Halloween comes out, and you have to beat him. He's a boss fight that you have to do. I haven't been there yet. So, but yeah, it's a fun little game. So that's the first thing I was playing. It was Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
What happens when you get caught by the beam, though? Is it over for you?
No. Oh, this is why you would be good at this game. You would never get caught, Sarge, if you were playing this game as the ghost, because you got to mash the button. Okay? Oh. You got to mash the A or X or B, right? So the ghosts have you, the Ghostbusters have you, and you're trying to break free. I was like, oh, dude, Sarge would be awesome at this. He would never get caught because you just go and you would get free and just run around and do it again. So yeah, it's fun though. It's a really fun game. They've done a really good job, and this takes place after the last Ghostbusters. Was it Aftermath, the last movie that came out? So Winston is the multi-billionaire now, and he's running the Ghostbusters Inc., right? And it's like a franchise, and you're like a new rookie that's trying to help them in the New York branch. So it's interesting. It's a fun little game. Check it out if you don't have it already. And if you do have it, when we play it again, you're more than welcome to join in. Like I said, it's a fun little game. And it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You get more points, obviously, experience-wise, if you win. But if you lose, you still get the XP of what you did throughout the match, right? So the dude says, again, another 80s IP making money in the gaming industry. Yeah, I see a trend here. Yeah. RoboCop, Ghostbusters.
That's a good game to be 4v1, right?
These guys are the same people that make this.
Or even 4v2.
The same company that's making this, or made this, is making the Killer Clowns from Outer Space one. So I'm interested to see when that game comes out. Supposedly later this year, maybe next year. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So
Killer Clowns. The stuff inside that movie though is very dark. I'm curious to know if they're going to do the same thing in the game.
Well, it's supposed to be like a 5v4 or something like that. There's multiple people that can be the clown. The other game I'm playing, or I played, and I actually rolled credits on it yesterday, Sarge, is Starfield, right? I have 194 hours in it. And YouTube Lurker made a joke yesterday because he's like, oh, you're so close. You're 6 hours away from actually leaving a review. Right? So I have 194 hours in it and 6 hours away where I can leave a review and say it's a shit game. But I went through the main story because I finished.
Well, you're ahead of me now.
I stopped playing back in late October, early November. And I just didn't go back just because there was other games I was playing and other things I was doing, right? It wasn't because I didn't like the game. So I went back and just said, you know what? Everyone's talking about this main story is bad. The main story is bad. The main story is bad. I said, no, I'll tell you what, right? I said, I'm going to go play the main story, finish the main story, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the actual thing. I'm not going to go into detail just in case I don't want to ruin anything for anybody that still hasn't played the game. But here's a stat for you, Sarge. Once I beat the game and I went into New Game Plus, okay, I got an achievement. And that achievement, by completing the game, what percent of people that you think played the main story, okay, to get that achievement? How many people on at least the Xbox, not on Steam, just Xbox, how many people do you think finished the game on Xbox so they could complain about the main story? What percent?
Are the people who finished it, or people
that say that they played the main story? The main story, they say it sucks. But the main story sucks. What do you think the percentage of people that beat Starfield's main story?
Beat it. So a lot of people don't beat it. So I'll say maybe like 5%.
That's a pretty good guess. So Dave says 20%. Krebsy says 1.2%. Mash says 30%.
I will say 5% of the people who actually finished it.
Al Dente, 22.6%. And Krebsy said or less. It's 11%. It's 11, like 0.2 or 0.4. I forget what it was, right? 11% of everybody that played on the Xbox, free on Game Pass, if you have Game Pass, right? 11% beat the actual game. Okay. Now, I guess you could say, well, they don't need to beat the main story to say that the main story sucks. But at the same time, how do you say a book sucks if you don't finish the book? Right?
How do you get into it?
Okay. Well, it wasn't for you. You can't really say the story sucked because you didn't finish the story to say that it did suck. Okay. So I played the main story, and I have to say the main story is not the strongest story in all the stuff, but it's also not the weakest story out of all the stories I played, right? I think one of the best stories in the game is the Crimson Fleet. I think that's one of the best stories. I thought the United Colony story was very good as well, okay? And I also thought the Vanguard was very well, right? The main story, I think, is fine. I think a lot of people think because of what the tropes that it is, because of the things that happens, when I'm being very generalistic, that happens, is just kind of like whatever. And I think it's fine. And the thing that happened to me at the end, I thought was really cool. And it's different because people in my chat was like, oh, I didn't get that. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, right? And it's completely different for everybody, right? So, and then when I started New Game Plus, there's an option that you get to choose, and I won't tell you what that is either, Sarge, because I don't want to persuade you in any way, shape, or form, okay? But when I played through the game, I started playing the game again, from the start, because you start over, you lose everything in the New Game Plus, okay? But you keep your powers, you keep your skills. I had no weapons. I had nothing. Right? I was like, I really like this game. Like, I started playing again, going through the main story campaign again, and I was like, I really like this story, and I feel like it's a challenge, right? And I'm going around, and I'm like, man, I'm going to play through the main campaign again, and I'm going to go play different than I played the last time. So last time I played as Jack Burton.
Right.
So
because embedded in that story is it's a different universe. So now play how you want to play again.
I played the first time how I wanted to play.
Now I want to be an asshole. This is the asshole universe. I'm going to be an asshole to everybody.
Right. So now I played as Jack Burton, right, in my first playthrough. Now I'm Jack Burton in a different universe. So now I'm playing at a completely different WoW. And it's a fun game, man. And I know it's getting a lot of shit and it gets a lot of hate for it and stuff. But you know what? We have a couple of Bethesda stories, and you'll understand why Bethesda does what Bethesda does and how big their games are. And it's like Nintendo. Crazy Uncle Nintendo does what Crazy Uncle Nintendo does. Todd Howard is like Crazy Uncle Todd, right? Crazy Uncle Todd likes to do what Todd likes to do. He makes certain games, and it might not click with everybody, but the people it does click with is like a fan for life, okay? And a lot of people I notice in games nowadays, and it'll be a little trend today, is that people expect a game to be one thing, okay, instead of judging it for what it actually is. And that's just happening more and more in the game industry. But yeah, so I've been playing Starfield. I'm absolutely loved my 194-hour playthrough. It's not a broken game. right? You said before the show, Sarge, what was the thing you said, right? You said that it might be boring, but it's not broke, right? That's what you said.
There's a difference.
Correct, right?
There's a difference.
So
it's blatantly obvious.
Right.
It's a difference.
There's a difference between a broke game and a boring game. And if it's a boring game, that's fine. You might not like that type of game or the style that they pick, but it's not a broken game. There might be things that you don't like about it, like there's no vehicles and people's eyeballs pop out of their head or whatever, but the actual main story campaign and the side quests and stuff, they're actually really good. So I was excited that I finished the game, and if the credits rolled, Sarge, it just lets you know if you want to let the credits roll, it's like 44 minutes or 45 minutes straight of credits that just roll. We always watch the credits on my stream when we finish a game. So yeah, that was it. I've been playing Starfield, and now I feel accomplished. I finished the game. I completed all of the side quests. There was a couple of side quests that that I didn't complete, but I finished all the main side quests, all the main story. And I understand why people say that the game sucks. Because I played it two ways in my one playthrough. I played it where I walked everywhere and lived and immersed myself in the world when I was playing the game the first time. When I went back this time just to complete the main story, I'm assuming this is how everyone's played the game if you think the game sucks, because you fast travel a lot, you go from one power to the next power, back to the lodge, back to the power, back to the lodge, back to the power, and you're just fast traveling, load screens every 5 seconds, and then it's just kind of boring at that point. But if you play this game by playing the main story, then sprinkle in a Crimson Fleet mission, then go back to Vanguard, then go do a mission of getting the powers and so on, I think people would like this game a lot better. But if you don't like that type of game, then it's just not that type of game for you. So that's what we've been playing. And let's get to the top stories. All right. So one of the main topics today, I kind of want to talk. Let's get the Bethesda stories out of the way, because the Starfield stories. I just talked about Starfield. So everyone hates Starfield, right, Sarge? Everybody hates Starfield. So much so that people are leaving Starfield, Sarge. The world's coming to an end.
Sad.
World's coming to an end. Everyone's leaving the Starfield world.
They're
the modders are leaving,
but not as fast as they left Spider-Man.
They're leaving Starfield behind. The modders, they're like, I'm gone. We're just not going to happen. Just not going anywhere. Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, in reality, Starfield mods seem super popular already, even before the official support from Bethesda even starts. Okay, so in this, it says, in the Nexus mod site hosts a bunch of super popular Starfield mods, already including one of the best improved general performances, adds tools like DLSS support, and even more niche mods, such as also improve the UI elements. And also, a total of Starfield mods in the site have been downloaded more than 30 million times. Okay, there are over 6,500 Starfield mods that have been downloaded over 33 million times on the nexusmods.com. Starfield is already ranked number 12 for mods count and number 17 for downloaded count without official mod support. And the most popular mod has over 1.4 million downloads. Now, what's going to happen here, right? Because I looked it up, and the mod support for Skyrim after 12 years is 69,200 mods that were created for Skyrim. Okay, we have 6,500 Starfield mods before official support even happens before the game. The game came out in September. It's been 4 months. Okay, 4 months, 6,500 mod support, and someone's gonna be like, this is garbage. It's because the game sucks, and that's why they have to make the mods and blah 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 blah. But let's be honest here. It's a popular game. It's getting supported by the modding community, so much so that it's ahead of the mods that came out for Skyrim and whatnot. And I guess you could make an argument that there's more people playing games nowadays, so of course there's people that make mods. But this is why I said the tissue syndrome last week, when I said, oh no, a big-time modder who became a big-time modder because he made mods for Skyrim or Fallout 3 or Fallout whatever, okay? doesn't like to do mods for Starfield. So take that tissue out, that modder's gone, and voila, there's another tissue there. There's another modder who will make a name for themselves in this community of Starfield, right? So what do you think about this, Sarge? 6,500 mods for Starfield. Is this shocking to you? Is this not shocking to you?
No, you have to weigh out all the factors. You have to remember that Starfield is a new IP. They're trying something different, right? The Elder Scrolls IP has been nurtured for decades, right? So it's a tall order to like try to copy pasta something that they started 25 years plus ago and try to come out of the gate and you think you're going to come up with a new IP and it's going to be as good as Skyrim, right? If we want to just separate that just for a moment, when the original games came out for Elder Scrolls, like I'm the only one I can remember back that I played back then, like Daggerfall, right? Like Daggerfall is
we
one
actually have a story about Daggerfall,
right? I think that's either 2. I think that's 2, right?
Yeah, it's Elder Scrolls 2. Yeah,
that's Elder Scrolls 2, right? So, like for me, that's the beginning of an IP. Only certain people liked Daggerfall, right? The people who love that kind of genre of game grew to love that game, and which is the reason why they got Morrowind, right? And the reason why they got
Oblivion,
right? So you cultivated and you built. You wanted to come out of the gate with a new IP and think you were going to get like gangbuster numbers. That's not how this works, right? Is space boring? Yes. Is space hard to make fun when you're trying to make it into a realistic type of scenario? Yes. Did it have okay stories? Yes. Can all that be fixed with mods and make things different and interesting?
Or even just
over the next 5 years? Yeah, it can. So yes, it didn't come out of the door like a shotgun. I got news for you. It's not going anywhere.
I think it did come out of the gates like a shotgun. I mean,
not going anywhere.
Even though people said it didn't sell well, it was still by Bethesda said the most played game ever at launch. It was the most played game at launch.
Right, and that's giving credit to the fact that
they buy it.
They are the parents of the Elder Scrolls, right? So you were going to give them benefit of the doubt to see what the space version of Elder Scrolls was supposed to be. Once again, not the same at all, right? And I still vote Skyrim over Starfield at this point, right? And as far as it goes for me, like the way they fall, for me, Fallout is still king and Skyrim's like beneath it, but not by much, right? If I weighed out the Bethesda games for me, I always like the post-apocalyptic stuff. Then I love the fantasy stuff, right? But they're close. This one's a distant third because it didn't grow on me like the rest of it did, because you're learning new things and trying to understand what they were trying to do for this version, right? When I think of sci-fi, right, I don't think really of Starfield that fits in there. I think more like Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Or I think of other space games that kind of do the kind of job a little bit better. But do I applaud them for what they tried to do in that game? Yeah. Yeah, they try to do IP. Once again, not everybody wants to do copy pasta forever.
Right.
I think not everybody wants to make the same game forever.
Well, speaking of mods, there's a mod that someone created. Let me bring it up here. Inside Starfield, that they took the mechs, and if you play through the game, you know the story of why the mechs are not being used. And there was a giant mech war that happened.
It's a giant war.
Yeah.
They almost killed everybody. Yeah.
So a guy made a mod where you can take one of those mechs and walk around, right? And now it's like Titanfall, basically. You can walk around. He doesn't show any first-person view. I think it's just third-person, but it's still freaking cool that someone did this inside the game.
This is 3 months out, bro.
I'm telling you.
What happens after 3 years?
Yeah, someone's going to make a Star Wars mod. And I'm telling you, once that happens... I mean, they already have the lightsaber stuff that's already in the game. I'm talking about full-fledged Star Wars sci-fi, inside the thing. But yeah, someone created a mod for the mechs inside the game, so it's pretty fun there, right? So pretty cool. Other than that, let's talk about another thing for Bethesda here, because you just brought up Daggerfall, and I shit you not, chat. This is not planned in any way, shape, or form, but Bethesda's, because I don't go over this. I don't tell Sarge a damn thing, but when we start the show. So we have a story about Bethesda's biggest game ever is free and remastered right now. Okay, Daggerfall. Okay, Unity is finished after 10 years development and works perfectly. Okay, before Starfield, before Skyrim, before Fallout 3 and Oblivion, before your parents even knew how to make you, there was Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. It remains Bethesda's biggest game ever, and now a fan-made rebuilding of the entire vast world in Unity has reached its 1.0 release. Okay, it's entirely free, so anyone can go play this right now. Okay, and you won't be destroyed by lawyers. This is the new Daggerfall, is an almighty achievement and exactly excuses you need to return to Tamriel. Daggerfall was originally released in the magical gaming year of 1996, and it was an astonishing moment in gaming history in a year when video games demonstrated they were capable of achievement vastly greater than anyone had ever imagined. Okay, so this game is so big. Okay, so in 2023, Starfield has roughly 1,000 planets, and you can visit, right? But in 1996, Daggerfall featured 15,000 locations to explore, spread across High Rock and Hammerfell. It features everything you expect from the Elder Scrolls series game, with free exploration, guilds to join, religions to associate with, reputation system, and of course, the ability to get turned into a vampire or werewolf. This was all set in a game world the size of the United Kingdom, said to be 80,823 square miles big inside the video game. Okay, this is back in 1996. Okay, now obviously, go ahead.
Right.
Oh. Now, obviously, this is someone's taken the love and remade it in the Unity engine, okay? But the fact that this is why Bethesda is loved and hated all at the same time, right? This is why they use the creation engine all this time, and people are like, they need to change engines, they need to do stuff. The reason people like Fallout and Skyrim and Oblivion and Morrowind and Daggerfall is because Bethesda made the games that they were. Did they age very well? No. But when you're playing a game like this, and now you can play it for free in the Unity engine, okay, this is what Starfield is now. It's back in 1996, Daggerfall didn't sell like hotcakes here, man, right? It was a popular game, but it wasn't like mass media where everyone and their mother was playing Daggerfall because they probably thought it was boring and too big or whatever. But then again, in 1996, there was a different landscape. There wasn't social media like we have now, and people weren't talking online going, this game sucks. They just said...
And you didn't have mass marketing people going after a game like Daggerfall.
Right.
Only specific nerd people who love D&D and role-playing fantasy were buying that game. And somehow, magically, even during that period of time, when it was only on PC, no consoles, right? Only PC, somehow they managed to carve out a profit in order to make Morrowind, right?
Right.
Like, no one really understands how much money is made in video games until you understand how much a game was back then. $50, right? $45, $50 PC games, $45, $50.
Yeah,
and
40,
yet,
50.
Right, here we are, right? No stores, all online, buy whatever you want. Too expensive, can't do it. Out of control.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, okay. Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. Okay. 700,000 copies of Elder Scrolls sold. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind had 4 million, and Elder Scrolls Oblivion had 950 million, and Elder Scrolls Skyrim had 60 million. Okay?
Right.
Daggerfall had 700,000 sales.
That's correct.
Then Morrowind had 4 million, and then they went to 9.5 million, and then they went to 60 million.
Okay, that's great. So let's just use that scale over that period of time. The increase, you can see the jumps in increase, right?
Yeah.
This is Starfield. It's a new IP. What's its starting number?
We don't know the actual sales number, but 13 million people played it.
Right? Played it. Okay.
Downloaded it, played it.
Let's just call it 10. We'll call it 10. Okay? That's your starting number. That's a pretty good starting number.
Right.
Right. It's a pretty good starting number.
I don't know. I just think it's funny. So that's we got the Bethesda, we got the Starfield. Let me see. Do we have? I think we have one more. We got that's the mech. Starfield. Okay. Speaking and staying with mod support here, here's another game that a lot of people, I mean, it sold very well. It sold like 50 million copies, but a lot of people, like yourself, never really finished the game because they got bored of it, was Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay.
I did.
Red Dead Redemption.
I think I'm like 20 minutes from the end of the game, and I just stopped playing.
Well, I'll tell you what. We have to look at the achievement list and see how many other people completed the game, because I'll tell you what. I don't think a lot of people. I think it's less than 40% completed that game, because it's a long campaign. Anyway, the news story is that Red Dead Redemption 2 gets a huge Mexico expansion that you can explore right now as a mod. Okay, Right now, you can go download it right now. Red Dead Redemption 2 player can explore an updated Mexico from Red Dead Redemption 2 thanks to a new mod. Now, it's not in the regular game. It's not from Rockstar. It's from somebody else that created it.
Of course.
Red Dead Redemption 2 couldn't get any bigger. Modders have strolled along and given you a map expansion and will be worth a look. Okay, it says when players first put the cowboy hats on and saddled up for the set of adventures, John Marston in the first Red Dead Redemption, they had a vast amount of U.S. land to explore, including Mexico. And then when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, there was no Mexico, okay? But yet, you could glitch into that part of the map, and it's there. Like, inside of Rockstar, the houses are there. There's people. There's people there.
Because they were gonna.
Yeah.
And why didn't they, bro? Let me hear you say it. Why didn't they?
It's because they had microtransactions in the game.
Right?
And they didn't need to.
They couldn't get people to play Red Dead 2 like they got people to play GTA 5.
Correct. Right?
That's how it is.
Like,
and so because you didn't get the support of people wanting to play the online version of Red Dead 2, so we just conveniently left that part out, which would have came in as some type of DLC. It would have.
Yeah.
You know it would have.
So you could literally, in the actual Red Dead Redemption 2, you can glitch over. There's a way to do it. You can look it up. I did it on stream when it came out.
Years ago.
Okay, back in 2018. And you could go to Mexico, and there's houses, and there's plants, and it's all made out to a certain point, and there's people. Like, NPCs are walking over there, and yet you can't get there. There's no way to get there, right? So this is the same thing they did for Destiny back in the day. Like, no, they didn't lock it off behind anything. That they did. They locked it off, because why would they put houses and stuff over there? Like, what's the point, right? So anyway, there's a mod now that you can go download and put into your copy on the PC. You can also go over to Mexico now. That game is so good. I want to go back and play that game so bad, but it's just such a massive game that I don't have time to play because there's other games coming out. But yeah, so there's another mod for you. Let me get some of these tabs closed after we do the stories here. So Starfield mods, Red Dead Redemption 2 mods, lots of different things here, Sarge. We also have, what do we got here? So this next story goes into Hogwarts Legacy, right? Hogwarts Legacy came out. It's almost a year now, right? Big. If you were like less than a month away from getting the update, if you're on Xbox and PC, you get that extra mission. That was the best mission in the game, supposedly. That was on PlayStation last year. That is now going to be on Xbox and PC, and I believe on Nintendo. I don't know when that happens. I don't know if it's a year after it comes out or if it's a year, but in just a few weeks, you'll be able to play Hogwarts Legacy's mission that have. But this is the most popular game last year. It beat out Call of Duty. It beat out a bunch of, it beat everyone. It was the #1 selling game last year, Hogwarts Legacy, even though people were like, well, it wasn't a good game. It was just kind of mediocre. It didn't do anything, right? But that's all full of shit, because Hogwarts Legacy has sold more than 22 million copies in less than a year. By when it's all said and done, it'll probably have around 25 million copies in the first year, which is a huge thing. So Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment President Dave Hayden, he now knows that Hogwarts Legacy has surpassed 22 million copies sold, and it did it in less than a year. He also said in Variety, Hogwarts Legacy crossed the 22 million mark at the end of 2023, picking up 2 million alone in December. He says that it's the best-selling game of the year and the entire industry worldwide, typically, and the title goes to Call of Duty and other AAA releases. But it's not just the units sold, but it's also, I'm proud to say, it's also delight to fans so much that he tells the publications it brought Harry Potter to life in a new way for gamers that also could be themselves in the world, in the story, and this is what the team in Avalanche has set out to do with the developing of the game, and I think it's really why they resonated so well. What remains to be the best-selling game of the year in the entire industry worldwide. So it sold more digital copies, it sold more physical copies, it sold everything. Congratulations to Hogwarts Legacy. Now, there's a topic going around: is is Hogwarts Legacy, are they just not going to do DLC, or are they going to do DLC, or are they just going to make Hogwarts 2? I think the answer is twofold. I think they are going to make DLC, and I think the reason they haven't said anything about DLC is two things. One, they wanted all the systems to come out first, right? Because they didn't want to promote that. Second, they have to wait to announce DLC for that next mission to come out that was on PlayStation only. 1 year later, it comes out on the all the rest of the consoles. So I think in February, we're going to see, not only are we going to see the mission come out on Xbox like we're supposed to, but I think, and again, this is just my speculation, I think we're going to get something where they announce the actual DLC later this year. And obviously we know, because it sold 22 million copies, Sarge, that we're getting a Hogwarts Legacy 2, right?
Hogwarts Legacy fell into the pothole of political bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? What they did to that game in order to punish it had nothing to do with the people who actually made the game. All the punishment was to the author of the books, who had nothing to do with the game. So they just transferred the anger and the political agenda from the author to the game, which is basically ridiculous, right? So now we'll see if they get an award at all, and we'll see if the Goldfish Brains remember or don't remember, and are going to start picketing them again for making a video game, as opposed to having a political agenda.
Well, they did actually get nominated. Now, I said this a couple months ago when the Game Awards screwed them over, and I said, you know who won't screw them over? I said, if they do, then it's an industry-wide thing. But this shows me more that it was just them, okay? Because the DICE Awards and the BAFTA Awards are the big ones in video games. That's the most respected ones, not fan where you're watching a award show and you're seeing the stuff, right? The DICE Awards is they've teamed up Kind of Funny Games. Greg Miller is the host, and I forget someone else is going to be hosting them. But the DICE Awards is amongst the peers. BAFTA is amongst the peers of the people in the industry. So in this, they came out with the DICE Awards finalists. Okay, so congratulations to the 27th annual DICE Awards finalists. Okay, so they are in two categories. Hogwarts Legacy got into two categories, but let me go down the list here. Outstanding Achievement in Animation. The nominees are Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Okay. Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction is Alan Wake 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Starfield. Outstanding Achievement in Character, we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3 for two different characters. We have Miles Morales in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and we have Thirsty Suitors in Jala, whatever that is. I have no idea what that is. Outstanding Achievement for Original Music Composition, we have Alan Wake 2, Diablo 4, Spider-Man 2, Planet of Lana, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Outstanding Achievement in Audio Design. I'm really surprised that Hogwarts didn't get it for music in any one of these, but it is what it is. Alan Wake 2, Cocoon, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor's on a couple of lists in this one. Okay, Outstanding Achievement in Story, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Dave the Diver, Thirsty Suitors, and Vinba. Outstanding Technical Achievement, we have Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Hogwarts Legacy, The Finals, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We have Action Game of the Year, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Remnant 2. And then Adventure Game of the Year, we have Alan Wake 2, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Family Game of the Year, we have Disney Illusion Island, Fa Farm, Hello Kitty Island's Adventure, Midnight Girl, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Fighting Game of the Year, we have Fantasy Versus Rising, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickel Down, All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. Racing Game of the Year, we have F-099, Forza Motorsports, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and Lego 2K Drive. Role-Playing Game of the Year, you have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, and Starfield. And Sports Game of the Year, we have EA Sports FC 24, MLB The Show 23, and WWE 2K23. Strategy Simulation Game of the Year, we have Against the Storm, Cobalt Core, Dune Spice Wars, The Last Spell, and War Tales. Immersed Reality Technical Achievements, Asgard Wrath 2. We have Assassin's Creed Nexus VR, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Vertigo 2, and We Are One. Immersive reality game of the year, we have Asgard's Wrath 2, Assassin's Creed Nexus VR, Horizon Call of Mountain, Vampire Masquerade Justice, and Vertigo 2. Outstanding achievement for independent game, we have Cocoon, Dread, El Paso, Thirsty Suitors, and Venba. Mobile game of the year, we have Goblins, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Star Rail, Terra Neil, and What the Car. I have no idea what that is. And then online game of the year. Wait a minute, where's Cyberpunk? Okay, that's ongoing game. Sorry. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Diablo 4, Omega Strikers, Street Fighter 6, and the finals. An outstanding achievement in game design goes to Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Outstanding achievement in game direction, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. These games, man, they're in almost every category. Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3. Game of the year. This comes down to Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, which is a big surprise, okay? Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So those are all the categories in the DICE Awards, and I like seeing games that were not popular in this actual list because they actually did something to deserve to be in these lists, unlike the popularity contest that is the Video Game Awards, right? Or the Joystick Awards, right? These people actually gave Cocoon, they actually gave smaller independent games, Dave the Diver, and all these other ones a chance to actually be acknowledged in this world of video games. It doesn't matter if you're a AAA studio or not. They got nominated for certain things. And Hogwarts Legacy got nominated for 2 categories. And that's, I think, what all people were just asking for. The best game of the year, not because it was popular, because it was Harry Potter, because it was actually a good game. It sold 22 million copies, and it's actually in 2 categories. It doesn't have to win, right? It just should be nominated to address, hey, you like this game? Look, this is the categories it's addressed in. Yep. So what do you think, Sarge? Any big standouts there for
all the ones that should be there are there. And the nod to the people who are independent to put them into the same bowl with some of those other big titles shows that they're trying to say it doesn't matter if you're an indie game or not. The category is the category that fits the category. You still get to go in there,
right?
So everybody that belongs there is there, which is good. All those games should be there. It should at least be nominated for those awards. Absolutely.
There's a lot of awards. I mean, Spider-Man, I think, is in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So when does that show come out? When is that? When are the awards?
I'll tell you in a second. 7.
I'd be interested in watching that one just to see
7, 8,
how the industry takes
9.
care of their own.
9 awards for Spider-Man 2. Okay,
right.
It's got to pick up a few.
I would be interested in watching the show just to see if the industry actually promotes their own. Just to see.
Let's see. It doesn't say February 15th. On Thursday, February 15th.
The day after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
All right.
February 15th. It'll be, I think, on. It doesn't say
Thursday.
I think it might be on
Thursday.
Their own YouTube channel. Yeah, maybe we'll cover it live because it's on Thursday. Maybe we'll cover it.
I think Valentine's is on a Wednesday this year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So Krebsy says, I'll be shocked if it wins 1. It would be pretty bad. Yep. And this is not me piling on Spider-Man in any way, shape, or form, right? But they went 0-7 at the Video Game Awards. I don't think they'll go 0 and whatever. I think they're going to pick up a couple here. Okay.
I think they're probably going to spread around the love and give people the recognition that they deserve for the game that they made.
I mean, Alan Wake is in like 5 or 6. Jedi Survivor's in like 4 or 5. Mario Wonder's in like 4. Right? There's a lot of games that weren't even mentioned in the other one. Okay? But yet this one's voted on by the peers of people in the industry, not a collective popularity contest. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited to see. I'm probably not going to watch it. If it's live when we are live, maybe we'll bring it up and look. But I don't think we're going to cover it. But I'm excited that little games are on there that wouldn't get the recognition. Be like, even I said, I was like, I don't know what that game is. I don't know what it is. But now now it's nominated for something. I look at it and go, oh.
But they know.
Right.
As they should. Right? Because they're part of the industry. They should.
Jedi Survivor shouldn't even be on the list, in my opinion. Well, it's a good thing you're not voting and the people in the industry are. I mean, because they're looking at they're not looking at it as a did it break or broke or buggy. They're looking at technical achievements and different things that they did in the actual game in their art, right? That's the difference between video game award show and peers in the industry voting amongst themselves on the things they want to vote for, right? They actually look at it. They can look.
I want to watch it just to see how they do it. I want to see the production value of that one. I want to see if they actually care.
I mean, okay.
Let them talk. Right. Let them get out the words they want to say about the. You know, I'm probably gonna watch it.
I mean, I think it'll be pretty good considering Greg Miller's a good host. People might not like him, but he's a good host on a Kind of Funny and stuff like that. So he's pretty professional, I would think. All right, so let's see what else we got here on the list. Did I go over that? No. All right, so let's go over this one. But if Jedi Survivor had a lot of issues, how can it be a tech marvel? I just gave an example. The categories that they're in, they're being voted on by people in the industry. Them that know what goes on behind the scenes to make a game.
Like what it takes to do what they did.
Right.
Like what engine did you use? How did you manage to do that in that engine that's unheard of? Like they did all the techno stuff in the back end that we don't know about. Right.
I mean, you can disagree or not, but I respect their opinion more than a popularity contest for commercials. You know what I'm saying? So the next story I want to talk about is, have live service games gone off the deep end with, just really expensive cosmetics? Okay. So
it's not microtransaction.
Cosmic microtransaction. Most profess to hate them, yet people are still buying them. A decade ago, its kind of monetization was a territory of predatory mobile games, while mainstream gaming was still arguing about whether or not paid DLC should come preloaded on a disc. And now Valorant has comfortably released a latest premium bundle, and that includes one weapon skin, compatible with 4 guns and a knife for $100. If you want to unlock the variants of the skin, it's more closer to $300. Also, a week in Apex Legends kicked off in big Final Fantasy VII crossover event featuring 36 themed cosmetics, iconic skins with minuscule drop chance, and grand prize cost nearly $300 in loot boxes to guarantee you to get it. Loot boxes were also shouted out in the games years ago that were also never left Apex Legends. 2 of the PC game's biggest fans of live service games, Morgan Park and Tim Clark, have been feeling the squeeze in some of their favorite shooters and RPGs lately, with the triple-digit bundles from FOMO-fueled collaborations events becoming norm, and the economics of live games completely out of hand. Morgan Park, staff writer, then I think about the conversations we had about $2 loot boxes and $10 skins only a few years ago. I wonder how exactly we got to where we are now. I'm looking at the main menu of Apex Legends, which is currently painted with literal gambling odds, nested next to outfits that cost over $20 on their own and $16 for a 4-pack deal. The guaranteed a legendary item from the actual increased price is more packs I buy. I'm almost losing my mind. When it comes to the biggest games around, get this gross. Expensive microtransactions are nothing new, but I think boldness is on the rise. Tim Clark, the brand director, says, I wish I could remember the exact moment. At some point, I noticed when all the service games I played were collectively decided as okay to charge $20 for a single skin. I love that this is coming out now, because I literally have been saying this for at least 5 to 6 years on this podcast. I said, how can you justify paying $60 at the time, $60 for a game, and 1/4 the price for one skin for a first-person shooter game that you can't see your own skin in, right? It's amazing to me. It says, give you a recent example. Bungie has been running a series of collaborations with other studios to create armor themed around iconic games. We've had riffs of Assassin's Creed, God of War, and most recently The Witcher. A full set of this armor for one character costs 2,000 silver. Destiny 2's made up microtransaction currency, which works out to an actual prize of $20. Some of that cost will kick back to the partner that owns the actual other game, but even a non-collaborate set you back $14.99. Okay, well, you can figure out what the just price is, right? If it's $20 for a known skin and $14.99 for a non-known skin, so you know the percentage they have to kick back to the other company. Okay, he says, not disputing that the Witcher themed gear is cool, but it would also have been a perfect reward for Seasons of the Dungeons, which is also called Warlord's Ruin, is set to Snowshroud Castle. Now, let me see here. To be honest, my bigger problem right now is Diablo 4. The in-game armor section is great, but again, The swankiness sets are all for the store, as Tyler Wilde noted that the game launched, and these paid sets always look as flashy as possible to tempt you to part with your Blizz bucks. In the case of the made-up currency, it's called Platinum. And the outfits detailed in the point are giving the design often features spot FX like glows or smoke. In the case of the beauty of the Sin Rogue outfit and the flashy outfits, eye-watering $25.99 for gear, and you could rarely see a display bigger than a couple of inches on the screen. Right? So it just keeps going on, right? It keeps going on to the examples of these microtransactions. And of course, people will read this and we'll do a story on it, and no one will give a shit because they'll just continue going on and spending $20 for a first-person skin they can't see unless they're in the menu system, okay? Now, these people are upset about $20 skins, $25 skins, even $100. We just had a story last week talking about Star Citizen selling $48,000 bundle for their ships, and these people are complaining about $20.
Disposable income in the gaming industry has been farmed. They did the data research. They did all the interviews. They made sure what they were going to do before they started all this microtransaction nonsense. You know, based on the numbers, that people buy games as a form of entertainment, and maybe they play it, maybe they don't, and they just throw it off to the side. It's an invalid number. They don't care. It's just something for them to fill the hours, right? So they may like it, they may not like. Developers and business guys have discovered that there are people out there with big bucks who also play video games. So we're going to just put this in front of them because eventually someone with money and not enough time wants to buy whatever it is, and they will. If there's a market, someone will find it, right? Should it bother you? No. But when they spend X number of hours or hundreds of hours of development time catering to these whales who will throw $300 at a skin as opposed to investing that time into making a better product, that's when I have the issue, right? If a game comes out broken and busted, but the storefront works, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Not going to play it, not going to buy it, not going to see it on sale, don't give a shit, don't care if you play it, right?
Yeah.
That's where I stand. Don't care. But they're going to do it because it's business, right? So if all it matters is business, then I treat you like a business. I don't like your product, I don't buy it.
Right, and that's right? Where you have to draw the line.
Not that I'm bored. I'm going to purchase it to support you and then throw the game in the corner because whatever.
Well, this is always the double-edged sword, right? Like, for instance, right? Marvel's Avengers didn't get supported, and they shut the game down. Now we have Suicide Squad's coming out, which is people are on the fence about it because they don't know what's going to happen because they said all the content's free. Now I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for the game as a single player, play the co-op or play either game co-op or single player through the story because of Rocksteady's storytelling. I've been saying that for months. And now, since Suicide Squad's coming out, we don't know what the end game is, but we do know that all the content is free coming out, and then they have microtransactions, a battle pass, and whatnot. But here's the thing. If people don't buy those microtransactions, even though they bought the game for $70, even though they bought the game for $100 for the 3-day early access, that doesn't cover the cost of the game anymore, right? Because now they're selling the cosmetics, and if they don't sell the cosmetics, then they go, well, we can't continue because no one's supporting the game. So we have to close the game down.
That's bullshit.
Oh, I know it's bullshit, but that's what it is.
Bullshit economics. It's bullshit economics. It doesn't make any sense, right? First of all, nothing is free, right? All the content's free. No, it's not. No, it's not, right? You're just using a bigger portion of the money that you put away instead of investing in another game to put more hours into making out this game, building out this game a little bit further,
correct,
right? We know how this works. Don't tell me anything's for free, right? You're just saying that because you want me to feel good about it. Oh, I'll give it a shot. It's all free, right? No, it's not free. Those guys get a salary. It doesn't matter if it's July 25th or December 30th, right? The guys who work for the company, they have a salary, right? Yep. They're not getting paid based on your frequency of buying shit, right? Your frequency of buying shit just gives them money on top of their normal budget. Any company that budgets their business model off of whether or not they sell microtransactions as opposed to whether or not we sell games.
Correct.
And that's why they have all these layoffs, because sales were down. No, I'm sorry. Sales weren't down. Your budget reflects what your game sales are, not with what the random occurrence is, whether or not you were able to psychologically manipulate someone to buy more skins this quarter than last.
Right.
Right? That's like saying the pretty picture on the box is what wants to sell it, as opposed to the actual product, right?
Right. Yeah. I always find this always funny. I remember when Destiny said it. They said the game is out, the dungeon was built, and they said the microtransactions you're buying is the reason we could make the Whisper mission. And I went,
I will never
shit.
I will never erase that video. I have it archived on my hard drive. I will never erase that video. That they said openly that you buying microtransactions gave us the money to fund the level. Get the fuck
what
out of here.
What happened to the money that you made for selling 15 million copies of Destiny 1 and every expansion after that at $30 a piece? What happened to that money? That
was the beginning of the end for me when they started talking like that. I was like, you guys think I'm fucking stupid.
How does a company like when we just said Daggerfall sold 700,000 copies? How did Bethesda make it? How did they make another game after they only made 700,000 copies and then sell the next one at 4.9 million and then sell it for 9.5 million? And then they grew.
And then they grew.
Imagine that. How did they keep ahead of it, but nobody else can? Because now someone's going to be like, well, video games are not as expensive. It's called inflation. Back then, money's money, right?
Inflation.
Now they put stuff in there. Okay, now they put stuff in the game, and they're like, well, it's $70. Oh, and by the way, 3 days early access, it's $100. Oh, and then it's Battle Pass is $10, and then there's $30 skin, and then there's a bundle, and then there's this, and they just try to nickel and dime you everywhere, and they're like, boo-hoo. But it's funny because there's a separation. It's not supporting the devs. The devs, like you said, have the money. They got paid from the thing. You're supporting the upper management now. You're supporting the guy who owns the company. And how much money they take to then go, you know what? We're going to continue making this game because we made a shit ton of money. Did you see how much money we made? We're going to make another season going on, right? That's how it works, right? They're like, all right, contract's up. We did it for 2 years. Percentage-wise, we only went up 5% year-over-year's date. We think with the projections, we can go up another 2%. We can be 7% next year. And they're like, okay, let's make the game. And then they continue making the game. And if it doesn't make that price, they go, all right. We're closed down. Sorry, the servers have to close because it underperformed of what we thought it was going to be, and now the servers are closed. Right. Thanks for all your money and all your microtransactions, and they're gone because we're closing the servers down. That's what it does, right? And if they put it in you, if you don't support the game and continue to buy microtransactions, then the game won't be continuing. So make sure you keep buying microtransactions, because if it wasn't for you, we couldn't have Season 3 or Season 4, okay? So then everyone's waiting. It's a waiting game, right? Because 20% make 80%. The whales pay for everything else, right? And everyone's sitting back going, oh, I'm not going to buy that skin. I'm not going to buy that skin. And then someone comes in and throws $10,000 at it. They're like, thanks for keeping us alive for 3 more months. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
It's asinine conversation. They apparently, according to the business model that they're running with, is they grew too fast, inflation's too high, rates had to go up, so they can't keep up with the costs. So they have to charge more for video games.
Of course.
Meanwhile, we've seen people make video games with less people and more quality, but they have to keep their lights on.
Right.
And they have to keep the boats on the water, and they have to keep the gold planes at the airport. So you have to make sure that everyone's paying $150 for a game, because that's how much it's worth, bro.
You can't.
Right? The last time I checked, a product is worth whatever the market's willing to bear. And apparently, they figured they can do whatever they want, and if they keep selling it, they just keep raising it because you keep buying it, right? When you stop buying it, the price comes down. You can look at Steam and look at all the other stores. When nobody buys a fucking game, it goes on sale like a fucking immediately.
I mean, look at
how fast
Avatar just went on sale. It's been out a month.
How fast did Battlefield the Battlefield 2042 go on sale after it came out? How fast was that?
Well, actually, faster was Battlefield 5 when it came out. Literally, like 3 months after Battlefield 5 came out, it was like half off.
to put into someone's head that you throwing money at a video game company just because you have to, because it's your fault we have to fire them. No, it's your poor planning and your poor business model. There's the reason why you have to fire 1,000 people every year right before Christmas. It seems kind of convenient how that works, right? And those who don't fire before Christmas always fire before the last quarter of the fiscal year, which, by the way, next month. So if you want to keep a running count of who gets fired next, get your pad and pencil ready, because that round is coming up, right? I don't want to hear about your poor business planning, right? You budget for what the product is, right? You've done your research. You've released 4 games in the past. You know about what you're going to sell. You're trying something different. We put a little bit more into this game to see if we get a bigger crowd. Let's see if we can grow a little bit more. And the answer is maybe you didn't, and now you have to go back a little bit. Yeah, at that point, you have to fire somebody. But because you didn't get the extra 10,000 people to buy your fucking horse armor, or the extra 10,000 people to pick whatever skin or weapon skin you have, and then because of that, you had to fire people, I don't need to hear that shit, right? I don't need to hear that shit. If you're making microtransactions for the whales, then let the whales have it, right? I already said it. If you're spending time trying to figure out how to sell fake product, digital products to somebody instead of making my game correct, then I will never, ever buy a game day 1, week 1, month 1. I'll never do it again. There's no reason. If as a lover of gaming, since the day I could actually play a video game, right? If I've been waiting five years for a game that I know is coming out, but it's not out yet, but I've been waiting 5 years. If it comes out and I have to wait another year and a half before I know it's actually ready, do you think that extra 18 months or another 2 years means anything to me? No. I'm not giving you the money for your broken shit so that you can promise to fix it, maybe, if you guys keep supporting me. Like, that's not how that works. Period. It does not how that works.
Real quick. Is that true, Water? Is that true? 2,500 more people got fired from Bungie, or are you just saying that? That because I didn't look at news stories since we started the stream. Is that true? So, Altern in chat says, just like Fortnite, rocket racing cars, they cost $45 or 4,500 V-bucks. No one bought them. A week later, the price was lowered to 1,500 V-bucks. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Okay, and games go on sale right away. If they don't sell, they're like, buy the game, buy the game, buy the game. They do the mass marketing. And if it doesn't work, they put it on sale right away because they have to recoup the money.
That's correct.
And when I say recoup money, meaning they're still making a profit off of that margin that they're lowering the price to. Okay?
That's correct.
So they didn't even have 2,500 employees, let alone 1,500. I don't know. That's what I'm asking now. Okay. So so there's a lot of things that happen when if you don't pay for it, they will lower the price, and that's how it works. But people are like, well, no, I want to pay for what I love. That's fine. You can pay for what you can pay for what you love, but you got to remember, you got to know that if you want this game to be better, then you got to stop buying. If the game's broke and you're buying microtransactions, they're going to put more microtransactions in the game. They're not going to fix the game, right?
Right.
If you want a game to be good, let them make the game, sell the game. If the game was good, people will buy it. Water brought up Path of Exile. Path of Exile's free to play, and people buy things in the game. But the main thing that people play Path of Exile for is because it's a fun freaking game. It's a fun game to play. People like playing, and they think the value that they're playing, because it's free, they're like, I'm going to pay money because I didn't pay anything for this, and it's super fun.
Okay, but I understand that type of business model, right? I respect it a little bit. But what you're really saying to me is, I'm able to make a great game with my team of friends. I can make a game so good that I don't have to charge you for it. And I'm only going to rely on the stuff in the game, microtransactions, to support us. That's how good I can make a game. So let me back that up. So you say you can do it. You can make the game really good, but you're unwilling to make the game really good and charge a price for it. So it's either really good and free and microtransactions to pay for it, or broken, buggy, and microtransactions galore.
Well, there's a difference though, because there's free to play.
Talking about?
There's free to play games that you pay for stuff, and then there's the AAA market where They charge you full price for the game. They charge you extra price to play it early. They put the microtransaction store in there. They give you a battle pass to give you. They charge you 4 or 5 different ways. And if you're Bungie, you're charging them 7 different ways.
That's
okay.
correct.
But yet Path of Exile is like, yeah, it's a free to play game. And you just buy what you want. Like there's stuff in there that you pay for, and what, but the game is free. You could just play the game.
Somehow they're scraping by, right? Somehow they're,
Epic does the same thing
by the will of God.
Yeah.
The developers from Path of Exile are just scraping by. They're still getting their handouts from the VA hospital and the homeless shelter food, but they can make a multi-million-dollar game, right? Get the fuck out of here, right? The point is that that the passion is there. You can make a game that's good at the onset, but to have the balls to say I can make a better game than Diablo, charge nothing, and rely on the microtransactions to sustain us. What does that say?
Well, going from that story, we're going to go to the next story, which is are simply too many games to play. Okay, ahead of publishing of Nikon. Okay, Nikon. Okay, it says in a recent interview, the publisher of the French publisher of the gaming tech company spoke about the state of the gaming industry and how far too oversaturated is touched upon the requirements of games to have strong positions before it hits the market, optimizing their market to target the gamers with the passion and experience, okay? And the product is also amongst catastrophic sea of titles, of indie titles and AAA blockbusters, okay? It says here, Clark suggested that some of the games are being lost in the noise. I did an article about this about 8, maybe 9 months ago. Okay, and they said the market's going to crash and oversaturation and whatnot. Okay, it says they applied the first place. He's not wrong. He says the last year there was a whopping 14,532 games released on Steam. That's around 39 games every single day.
Christ.
and that's just one platform. It's exponentially increased number of presenting gamers with far too many options for their own good. In the last year, Nikon said that sat at both ends of the troubling spectrum. I saw a boom during the November release of RoboCop Rogue City, which turned out to be as much more of a hit than it was early anticipated, and currently sits at Steam at a 9.10 rating from 5,500 reviews. At the same time, Nikon was also left relying on following the implosion of Lord of the Rings Gollum, which was developed by Dalek Entertainment and a subsidiary of Nikon, and quickly became regarded as one of the biggest failed games in recent years. And it forced Dalek to cancel a follow-up title, close down, and the game development arm. Do you think that the weight of all games is putting an unnecessary strain on the industry? And is there too much of a wild race indie developers of AAA studios constantly innovating to throw money at projects that stand out amongst the crowd? So there you go. He's saying that there's way too many things. And we talked about this with Game Pass and whatnot, right? And I said the indie developers, when they first got into Game Pass, they're like, oh, this is great because they're going to get pushed and out. But as Xbox keeps buying studios, as Xbox keeps making first-party studios, and they keep putting that first-party titles on Game Pass, yeah, they're still getting exposure, but now you're getting lost. It's like going through the Netflix menu system. You want to watch a movie, and if it's not in the top 10 or rated movies or whatever, right new or brand new, you're scrolling for 45 minutes trying to find something to watch, right? That's the same thing that's happening on Steam. It's the same thing that's happening on Game Pass. The same thing that's happening on any other form, because they can only make the thumbnails small enough so you can see what the hell the thing's going on, but you still have to click on it to read the description and whatnot, right? So the problem here is there's so many games, and this is just on Steam, that are coming out that companies are just they're suffering, because this is why the release date is so important. I watched the video, and I forget the guy's name. He has an independent game. I think we brought it up a couple months ago on this channel, on this podcast, where he made like a fighting game. I forget what it's called. And he did so much research. He's a one-man team that made this game by itself, okay? And he did so much research to find out the perfect time when to release this game. And it's not just pick a Monday, launch the thing, and that's it. He had to do research to figure out, okay, there's a holiday coming up, there's this coming up, this game's coming out, it's like this game, it could overshadow my game. He did all this research. It took him over a year to research when the perfect time to release this game. And then when he did it, he got free advertisement on a certain thing because of the time frame he did it, and then it came out and it was successful. Now he's growing his company. He hired like 5 employees, okay? Or it could have been the complete opposite, where he launched the game and it just died on the day because nobody knows it's there. I can kind of example, as a YouTube content creator, some of my videos I post up and they get picked up right away, and my average of videos is anywhere between like 50 views to 200 views, right? That's the norm. Sometimes I put a video out there, it dies dead. No one sees it, doesn't get pushed out there because there's thousands and thousands of people uploading videos, and the algorithm that goes out there, it gets fed into them. And sometimes on a Tuesday, it doesn't matter if you launch it on 5 o'clock every Tuesday, someone could have just changed their schedule and they start loading on Tuesday. So more videos come out that certain time, and then you get overshadowed by certain things, right? You're at the whim of the world of when you post your game. So that's why it's so important for these guys to make a game, sell that game. Because if they have the best game in the world and then they launch it and no one knows it's there, no one knows it's there. But if they make a game and sell a game and then they put the money behind it to try to promote that thing to get it out there, then people play it, see it, and then you have stories like BattleBit Remastered, right? The game is really fun to play. People get it. They talking about, word of mouth gets out there, and it starts to spread like wildfire. Same with RoboCop. RoboCop wasn't supposed to sell. They even said it wasn't supposed to sell as well. But because they made a game and they sold that game, it became a more popular game, right?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, okay? The number of hours that you need to play all these games, live service games, right, is not the same as you releasing a title. You play it like a Spider-Man 2, you have a ball, you play it for a week, 2 weeks, you solve it, and then it's over, and you put it away. Right? Even though there are more gamers today, right? I'll rephrase it. There are more people being entertained by games today. Right? Even though the gamer population has gone up, it hasn't gone up as fast as people who are entertained by games, right? So you have this I guess this unquantifiable number of people who actually play a game and finish it. Like you actually finish the game, like you read a book and you finish the book. Right? You're trying to say now that the games need to have live services, and you're trying to mix the people who play games and finish it with that group.
Right.
And you're
just
trying
want
to
to constantly play a game. Right.
So you're trying to constantly get that population to play a game. Well, they don't have the time. So if more and more developers are trying to make games a service, right, they all can't survive because you have it in your head that we're going to make this much money from having this game as a service, but we need to have like 40,000 people a month play for a certain amount of time in order for that to work out in our numbers, right? But people aren't doing that because they're playing games, right? You have to make a game good enough to where I'm playing your game more than I'm playing anything else.
Right, the other
when
game.
that happens, and then when that happens, if you're a gamer, not a person being entertained by games, then you either end up with a backlog, or you can't play as much, or you're bouncing around, or something happens because you just don't have the time, right? The old days was we make the game the best it can be, we sell the game, maybe it lasts a month, maybe it lasts a year, maybe we think we can milk it for a little bit more, so we make a DLC, and then we move on. But if everybody's trying to go this gas route where everything's live all the time, number one, it ain't going to work because you don't have the populations to do it. And number two, you're going to lose this middle ground of gamers, this middle ground of game developers who are trying to make a game, and they can't make a game that fits that criteria anymore. So you either have to be a small studio that makes an indie game that you try to grow your popularity, and then you take the risk and you come out with a bigger game and you do what that guy did, which is try to figure out the perfect time to release it, right? Or you just, as the hobby of your company, you release a game maybe once every couple years, you sell it to Game Pass, or you sell it to Xbox or to PlayStation Live, whatever is happening at the time. Like, you get your money up front because it goes on their service, and then you just walk away. You don't worry about it, right?
Right.
But the days of having multiple games go this gas route and try to get everyone to play for so many hours, not going to work, man. It's just not going to work. Right? That's like saying how many, like, the perfect example are MMOs, right? The amount of time needed to invest in an MMO that you actually like.
It's a part-time to a full-time job.
It's a part-time job, right? How many MMOs do you think can be sustained in today's market, right? Currently, I think there's like 6 or 7,
no, there's more
and
than
they're
that,
all, well, the ones that we hear about, the ones that are not struggling.
Yeah.
right? They have their number. They got their number. But the people keeps every time somebody says they're going to come out with another MMO, I cringe. I'm like, what do you think you're going to do?
Well,
That's going to try to take a piece of the pie out of WoW or Warframe.
right. Well, this is the difference
what I mean?
between because like Destiny works because you don't have to have 1,000 people on one server, right? You're in the hub, and when you go on your missions, you're just taking your own instance type of thing, right? Same thing with Division. You go to the hub, you see a bunch of people running around, but then when you go to the world, it's just your world. So it doesn't need to be populated, right? You could have 5 people playing Division, and you go to that server, it feels like, oh wow, there's still people playing this game, right? Like there's always someone when you go to a hub in Division that there's there, right? Not until you go to
done that way. Just a side note, it's done that way specifically on purpose to give you the idea that you're a lone wolf.
Yes,
with
correct.
a few guys trying to save the world type of thing.
Correct.
It's not just 100,000 agents running amok inside downtown DC.
But I'm going to give you other examples. Fallout 76 does the same thing. They only have, I think it's like 24 characters or 32 characters on the server or something like that. They keep it smaller because even if it dies down, they can bring them those less people and it still feels full. You know what I'm saying? It feels... Battle Royales do this now, right? Battle Royales, they put bots in the games, right? So not only do they put 100 people into the round, right, but there's also bots in that 100 people as well. So you don't know if there's 100 actual people or if they're people and you're like, was that a bot? Like, you know, but you don't know, right? That's because they make you feel like it's more of a game, right? So it's interesting what these live service games are doing where they make it feel more populated than it actually is. But it's okay because that's all they have to do. They got to make you feel like it's the Wizard of Oz, that the great powerful wizard's there, and he's the almighty powerful one, right? And you just don't look behind the curtain. If you look behind the curtain, you'll see it and go, this game's dead. But it really isn't dead because if you don't know it's dead, then it feels like it's alive and fine.
The sustainability of these types of games is going to make it very difficult to invest large sums of money in a development team and hoping for a return, right? Because that type of game warrants a big release and something that people want to play. You got to want to have that game in your library and want to play it. And if they can't reach that level, then they can't even get it to become a gas game. They can't get enough people to actually want the game, never mind sustain it for years.
Right. I think I want to talk a little bit about Suicide Squads real fast, right? The NDA got lifted. Okay,
so we can talk about it?
We can all talk about it now. Anyone that played the game on the alpha can talk about it.
Now I can listen. Someone tell me about this goddamn game.
Okay, so I want to bring up the service that they're doing with the co-op, cross-play, cross-save type of stuff.
It all sounds interesting. Is it true? Drop in, drop out type thing?
Drop in, drop out, cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression, I believe, as well.
Okay.
The game itself, though, I think they're trying... We don't know what they're doing yet until they show us the third installment of their developer diary. But they're going to talk about the end game type of stuff. This is just me spitballing in my own head.
Tell me something.
I will.
Give me opinions. Tell me something.
What I'm saying is I think the way that live service games go, Fortnite does it well, Warframe does it well, Fallout 76 does it well, Sea of Thieves does it well, where they bring in content. You don't have to play this game for 7 months straight. You can play this game for like 2 months straight or whatever time frame you want to play. Take a break, come back when the next update happens, and then move on, okay? Supposedly, one of the leaks for Suicide Squads is that every season there's going to be 2 story episodes per season, right? Story episodes meaning that there's like comic book, right? Like you play the main story, then season 1 comes out. There's going to be like an episodic episode that you play. There's going to be a new character. And then in the same season 1, there's going to be another episode that happens where they bring another character in and another story that happens or something like that, right? Or it might be 1 character and 2 stories. I forget.
So like how we talked about Avengers should have been.
Correct. And I think that's an interesting way they're going to do it if it's true. Okay. Now as far as talking actual what I know, okay, because I played it. I think the game is done really well. I think a lot of people are shitting on it because it's not Batman Arkham. They did this with Gotham Knights. They shit on it because it wasn't Batman Arkham. And now they're doing it again, right? Because they started shitting on Gotham Knights because it wasn't Batman, and then they started shitting on it because it wasn't 30 frames per second right before it came out. Okay. Now they're shitting on this because Rocksteady is coming out and they're making a game that's a live service game, and that's a no-no. Can't do a no-no, right? Because even though they like playing live service games, they just don't want their thing that they wanted to be a live service game. Like, this is not Batman Arkham live service. This is a Suicide Squad live service game. And overall, I think that's the biggest hate that it's getting, okay, is because it's not Batman Arkham. Now that it's in the universe of Batman Arkham,
It must be horrible to come out with such a great game like Batman Arkham and then have everything be compared to it.
right? I don't think they were coming out to make Batman. They made a game and they sold a game and it became this phenomenon of the great combat system. And
Because it was a great game.
that's right. They made a game and they sold a game, right? They weren't looking out to be the one all to be all of all beat 'em up game type of thing. You know what I'm saying? They just made a game to be Batman, and then other games looked at that, and inspiration came about from Batman Arkham series to make other great games.
Should.
Correct.
As it should.
So now everyone's like, well, they made this fighting game, and now they came out with gun game, and how can they do this if they wrote the book in fighting, and they want them to come back with that, but that's not what they're making. They're trying to reinvent this new book of their fighting combat system, right? And I think they got it. I think they've done it a really good job with the mix of the melee / shooting, because as you level up in this game, when I played in the alpha, I only did 2 things, so I didn't really feel the power yet, but I could see what it was, basically reading what the perks and stuff were. So you can do like an uppercut, float a guy in the air, shoot him with the gun, and you do much more damage. So you can do really good damage if you use all the weapons to your installment. You know what I mean? Like mixing your melee with your shotgun, with the jumping ability, with your super, and you can do a lot of good damage. A lot of people are going to push back on this game because of also the traversal. Harley Quinn, I think, is the worst one right now in the beginning. Okay, her traversal's a little weird because you're doing the grapple hook to the bat wing, and then you're like swinging, and the swinging is kind of weird because if you time it correctly at the peak of the thing, you can like progress yourself to the next momentum. You have a momentum going with you, right? Where Captain Boomerang, you're just throwing a boomerang, and then you teleport where the thing is, and then you can jump and then throw it again, and so on and so forth. So you can rack it up that easier. King Shark, you just power up and you jump, and you literally what Hulk should have been in Marvel's Avengers, he is in this game. The way King Shark jumps in this game is what the Hulk should have been jumping in Marvel's Avengers. It feels really good, okay? And then you have Deadshot with the jetpack, and that seems more... It's really cool when you're fighting and floating above and shooting. Like, people are going to be... When you see a good Deadshot player, you're going to be like, dude, that's impressive. Like, just floating there and doing all the stuff, it's going to be really good. Because there's people that can play it, but there's going to be people that master it, okay? And that's what I like about...
In a game like this, that's how it should be.
Correct. And I think what's going to happen with the traversal with Harley... People that master Harley Quinn's traversal, people are going to look at that and go, damn, that's good. Because they're about equal, no matter who's doing traversal, if you know how to use them. And then in your skill tree, there's a traversal upgrade that you can do certain things. So you're supposed to feel less like, you're supposed to be clunky in the beginning. And then as you level up, if you want to traverse better, you can upgrade in that category to traverse better. Then there's also a melee, and then there's a gun, right? Or defense and there's offense. So the game feels good. Right, the traversal feels good, the map feels good, the gunplay feels good. The gunplay is not as sharp as like a Destiny or a Call of Duty, but it's good. It's good for what it is. I think they set out to do something, and I think they accomplished it. It's between the shooting, the sound effects. It's not like realistic gunfire. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the satisfaction of the gunplay when you're playing and shooting and hitting, and you hear the little tings that happen, like when you hit a headshot or you break the shields or you do a counter. Like, all of this sounds really good while you're playing. Another thing people are talking about right now is the UI, right? Because they can't complain about anything else, right? So they're like, oh, the UI looks crazy and it looks dumb and there's too many things on the screen. Even though some content creators that got to play it in between the event and us getting our NDA lifted, they got to play it, and they said that you could shut off. I didn't try. I didn't know you could, right? I didn't go into the menu system during my alpha, but they said that you could turn off the UI. Now, I don't know if it's customizable as far as, can I make them smaller or bigger, or can I shut off 2 things and leave 3 things on? I don't know. Maybe someone said that and I missed it, but you can shut it off and you can turn it on. I think you could turn off certain things, or I don't know if it's all off, all on. I know you could get rid of the numbers if you don't want to see the numbers, right? So you don't have to have any HUD on and play the game where no numbers and just be immersed in that world, and it feels really good. Each of the characters feel really good. They feel distinct enough between each other, and not everyone can use all the guns. So if there's a gunplay, let's say a shotgun, and I forget who can use. I think it's like a shotgun is used by Boomerang and I think Harley, right? I don't quote me. I don't remember, but let's say they can both use shotguns. The guns itself don't level up. So if you are at whatever level in your skill tree, you played 10 hours, you got 10 levels, the gun's going to drop all the time, and then you level the gun up with different mods and different things, okay? There's no gear score in this, okay? You're just playing the game, and you're putting skill points into your skill tree to make your character more powerful, put it towards and getting mods and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens farming and stuff, okay? But yeah, so there's different ways that the people play with that certain gun. Shotgun's a shotgun, but Captain Boomerang using a shotgun with his ability that when he slices people with his boomerang and then takes the shotgun to their head and blows their head off, right, is different than Harley using an uppercut with the mallet and then using the shotgun. It's just different things, different perks for different characters. Certain people use guns better. They're like just better. That's why they can't use like an SMG or they can't use a sniper rifle or whatnot. So overall, that's how the gunplay is. We didn't get to play any of the stuff they showed in Dev 2. Like, there was no penguin that I could upgrade weapons or anything like that. But there's going to be afflictions. There's going to be mods. There's going to be toys. There's going to be different attributes and stuff that you can put in. And your character just gets stronger. And I think that's the big thing, that you're going to feel stronger. I didn't get to do a build, but this game is going to be having some really crazy builds between some of the skills I saw, between some of the perks that are on the weapons, between some of the perks on the other stuff. And then there's the notorious weapons, which is a step above the legendary. So there's legendary weapons and there's notorious weapons. Notorious weapons, and this is info not from me, from my play, because it wasn't in the thing. This is from people that talked about it, that went to go play it. Notorious weapons, right now they said there's Bizarro weapons, Lex Luthor weapons. There's a couple of other, there's like 5 or 7 different types of notorious themed type of stuff, right? There'll be Black Mask is one of them. So there'll be themed things that are based off of them, and they have special perks on them. They'll roll with a special perk already on those weapons above legendary. And
specific or random?
I think it's specific, if I'm not mistaken. And what's nice thing about the actual, when you're leveling up your skill tree, let's say you want to build a melee build, or you're going for a melee build or whatever. It'll suggest as you're picking. It'll say, oh, because you have this and this, you might want to choose this, and it'll give you what it's for. So if you're looking to make a build or a loadout, it'll try to help you a little bit in that way, so you don't feel like lost, right? So if you're making like a melee build, a shotgun build, a poison build, whatever you're doing, it's going to try to help you along. And it changes as you go, because it says, oh, well, you're going for this type of build, so you might want to use this perk, you might want to use this weapon, and this skill.
It says it on the screen?
It says it like, so in your skill tree, when you highlight a box, at the very bottom, it'll say like melee or shotgun or whatever. It shows you in different colors and what it is. So if you're making that toward a build, then you'll pick that for that build, right?
So it helps you kind of piece together a build.
Yeah, it kind of helps you along the way. There's a lot of stuff that if you want to go find, like Miller Ross, who's on Twitter, and he's a data miner and does a lot of stuff. He did this for Marvel's Avengers. We have an interview with him later in a couple weeks. But if you go to Twitter and read his stuff, I'm not going to say it out here, but he's done some data mining and a lot of stuff, and I'm excited for what the potential is of this game and if they do it right. Now, obviously, the downside is everyone's like, well, it's a live service game. They're going to milk you for all the cosmetics. And my thing is, if you don't want to play the cosmetic game, don't buy the cosmetic game. They say they have 20 months right now, 20 to 26 months of content ready to go right now. Okay, the game launches and they have 20 months to 26 months of actual content. So at least 2 years. Now, obviously, if they don't sell enough content or cosmetics or battle passes, obviously that could diminish. Okay, but they want at least 3 years out of this game. And I think they'll get it. I think the game, what I've played, I think is good enough for what the game is. And I played a lot of Marvel's Avengers, and Marvel's Avengers lasted 2.5, 3 years. Okay, and that was a bad game. I think if this game comes out and it's just as bad as Marvel's Avengers, okay, which I don't think it is, I think it does a longer lifespan than Marvel's Avengers. But that's just...
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
All right, we're gonna see. Like I just answered in chat. We all know that Suicide Squad did a reboot mid-development, and I know they're gambling right now.
Who did a reboot?
Suicide Squad.
No, they didn't do a reboot. They
Yes,
stopped.
they did. They changed the way the game mechanics were. Yes, they
No,
did.
in an article I
Yep.
read, they did not change the mechanics of the feel of the characters. They said this. I only could take what they said out loud.
Yep.
They said out loud. They said the reason they postponed it is because they wanted to fine tune the characters, but they didn't want to change them to fundamentally change what they are in the game, because all the different characters that are going to be coming into the game are going to have their own traversal and whatnot into the game. So what they did was they worked on the actual game and all the content for the first year so they can make it work. Right? And that's the big thing that Marvel's Avengers fucked up on. They didn't work. The game didn't work when it properly came out.
When it was released and they saw the game footage, they wanted to know if that was all guns and no melee combat, and everyone freaked out, and they went and they had to go back and redo the way the game was. That was out in the article.
They said the trailer.
Everyone was pissed off.
No, they said the trailer was cut. They weren't happy with the way they presented it in the trailer, so they went back and polished the thing. And then if you look at the new trailers, they're marketing it more towards not the looter shooter aspect. They're marketing it more towards the single player thing with the looter shooter attached to it.
Paul has the good fact here that I'll go along with. Right, we're talking about 8 years plus with this game. That game's been rebooted. Right, that's a long time.
They say it wasn't, and they also said that there was. They also said there was never a Superman game. There was never another game that they were working on. They've been working on this game ever since they stopped working on Batman. This was the next game always in the lineup.
Okay.
So,
we went over the story and everyone freaked out, and they went back to the drawing board to change the way the characters were. We went over the story. So I'm letting you know right now, they're gambling, is what I think is happening right now. Right? They're hoping for the best. They got everything. They got all their ducks in a row and trying to market this perfect. I get it, but they're gambling.
Look, I can agree with you, Paul, that it's not a fact, but I can agree with you. We'll find out real easy once the game comes out if there was microtransactions shoved in to the game after the fact. If it's just cosmetics and there's no other if there's nothing else in the game that makes it like a looter shooter where it's like a Destiny, then it just the stuff that was shoved in would be the battle pass / cosmetic stuff. But if the game mechanics themselves, you would know if they pulled something out. You saw it with other games, right? So I can't say I believe in Rocksteady for the story content, and what I played and what I saw in the alpha, they did a lot of story beats. There was like 2.5 hours of content of story beats in the game, and it's solid, man. It's a solid single player game as far as story given by the people that made the Batman Arkham series stories. So if the game sucks for Endgame and it sucks for live service, okay, I'm in it for the story. And once the story's done, if it works, great. I'll eat the whole cake. If it not, I just take my slice. And the slice is the single player right now. That's the way I'm looking at it. So that's it for that. Now, let's go to the Xbox Direct real fast, okay? Xbox Direct. Next week, Thursday, we'll talk about this more because we'll have information about this stuff. But at the Xbox Direct, they have 4 things they're showing. Okay, last year they showed 4 things, and the 5th thing was a surprise. Hi-Fi Rush was a shadow drop. Okay, so first up, okay, fans should tune in on Xbox channels at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. UK, January 18th, to see all the latest on. First up is Indiana Jones. Machine Games, the award-winning studio behind the recent Wolfenstein series, will reveal their upcoming Indiana Jones game, an action-adventure that puts players in the leather jacket, and the legendary archaeologist Developer Direct will showcase more than 10 minutes of game and developer insights, including details about the game's setting and story, and how fans will actually play as Indy. Additional details from the next global trotting adventure, and premiere the first gameplay trailer. Question for you, Sarge. Do you think they got Harrison Ford to model as Indiana Jones? And 2, do you think he's voicing Indiana Jones?
Honestly, he might have got his face scanned, but I don't think he cares enough anymore to want to do the voice. I'll be honest.
I think
even if he didn't do it with all the VR or all the AI stuff they can do with voices now, I'm pretty sure they can get his voice without him. You know what I mean?
True. I think they could pitch it to him and be like, Harrison, look, I know you're getting old, but we can pay you really well. Okay, we can make an Indiana Jones game, and all we need to do is scan you in, and you do some voice lines, and you get paid big bucks instead of doing a feature film. We're doing special effects and your stunts. He's like, don't give a shit. And they're like, all right, so you're in. And they're like, all right, come on in. So right, I think they are, and I think that's going to be a big thing. I think they got him to do it, and I think that's the big selling point, right?
We will see.
Do you think it's going to be now? Here's the thing. Uncharted, I talked about it earlier. Uncharted and Tomb Raider were based off of Indiana Jones. We all know this, right? Okay. Now, in video game form, there was Indiana Jones games, but Uncharted and Tomb Raider are better games than any Indiana Jones game that came out in the past.
Yep.
The standard here is Indiana Jones at least going to be as good as Uncharted or Tomb Raider?
It would have to be.
Right? That's the minimum standard. If not, it has to be better, right?
The original, at least, is better as the original Uncharted.
Right. So I hope I hope it's a good game, and supposedly maybe it comes out this year. We'll find out more next week. Okay. The second thing, go ahead.
To be fair with the Indiana Jones game, though, right? If you think about it, right, that could be a long play adventure that could definitely fall into the category as a games of service, because think of all the hidden items in the world, these treasures that you can go looking for, that you have to solve puzzles to go find. Like an Indiana Jones game where I'm actually going to do like
the episodic.
Maybe they start doing normal stuff, but then like after like year 2, they do the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like you're going for the Ark. Right?
Well,
solve the puzzles, go for the thing, and everyone gets excited because the older crowd knows what puzzles they are. The younger crowd doesn't know, but they're fun looking at the puzzles because they've never seen the movie before, right? They just think it's an Uncharted game, right? So like you might get people going both ways. Listen, what I'm saying is Indiana Jones fits perfectly into that business model because you could be discovering puzzles and going after specific artifacts for years.
Yeah, I said earlier in my stream, I said I hope they do what like RoboCop did. RoboCop, the game, Rogue City, took place after movie number 2, between number 3, right? Just recently, Outlaws, that's coming out, Star Wars Outlaws, is taking place after Empire Strikes Back, before Return of the Jedi. If they take this Indiana Jones, and the name of this thing is supposed to be the Great Circle or something, they saw some domain names being taken. If this game comes out, I hope they do something like RoboCop or something like Outlaws did and put this after Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Or Temple of Doom, and then between The Last Crusade type of thing. Give us that iconic, don't give us Harrison Ford after Crystal Skull. Okay, don't give us after the Dial of Destiny. Okay? Like give us iconic Harrison Ford back in the day, right? That's all I'm asking. All right. Avowed. The team at Obsidian will share its first deep dive into gameplay experience fans to expect. In Avowed, there's upcoming fantasy action RPG set in the fantastical, vibrant living lands. Learn more about the Obsidian experience, building worlds, and deep themes, dynamic gameplay throughout the reactively come to life in Avowed, where players can have agency to have choice, shape out their step in their adventures. Now, Pillars of Eternity, people that are fans of Pillars of Eternity, this is what this is based off of. So this is like a first-person Pillars of Eternity lore. So I'm actually excited for this. Look, I look at Obsidian like I look at Rocksteady. Until Obsidian does something bad, I have to trust them, right? Just like CD Projekt Red, I trusted them until I didn't, okay? So Obsidian right now, to me, is a fantastic company. I liked all their games they've created, right? They have one of the best Fallout games, okay? Outer Worlds was fantastic. Grounded, the game that they made, was a fantastic game, and now they're doing Avowed. I think this game is going to be pretty good. People are giving crap on it because of the graphics or whatnot, but to me, graphics doesn't sell a game. It entices you to look at that game, but it doesn't make or break a game, in my opinion. Are you looking forward to Avowed because it's sort of like Skyrim-ish type of game?
Honestly, no, bro. I've seen so many of these games go by. I've lost interest. I'm hoping for people to, like, this year, to take some chances, get some games out there that are a little bit different, use some of the old school type of mechanics, but bring back some fun to the video game again. I want boss fights with mechanics. I want some fun back in the game again. I don't want this all or nothing Elder Ring, Dark Souls shit, and I don't want this carbon copy of another AC. Anything that reminds me of AC gives me agita. I don't care anymore. Right? Like the new Prince of Persia came out. Like, I'm supposed to be excited for Prince of Persia.
Looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
I don't care.
I know, but it looks pretty good regardless.
Don't care. Like, listen, if you haven't seen it, I'm happy for you. It's new in your eyes. It's the new car smell that you guys have been looking for. I've been around too long. I'm looking for something specific that just kind of rings my bell, right? And I haven't seen it, right? But thank God there are games out there currently that hold my attention, that keep me busy, because the baseline for me is I'm a strategist. Like I'm a chess player, strategy type stuff. So any kind of game that involves strategy and trying to figure out puzzles and things like that, I no problem.
You might like this next game.
I will stay busy.
You might like this next game, the Aria History Untold. Hear from the leads of Onyx Games, a studio founded by veterans of the strategy genre and creators behind classic strategy titles, including Civilization V, as they unveil exclusive new gameplay and share more details about the inspiration, key features, the road ahead, and upcoming historical grand strategy games. So that might be up your alley. I'm not really too interested in that one. Okay, and then the last game that they're coming out and showing information on is Hellblade 2. Ninja Theory takes us behind the scenes of their studio in Cambridge to give us some insight on how they're crafting Hellblade 2, and the team will speak ambitious and maliciously care involving to create the journey of a survival. So, and then shortly after Direct, it concludes with ZeniMax Online Studios will host Elder Scrolls Online 2024 Global Reveal. So they have their next expansion coming out for ESO that they're going to show a standalone presentation. The department team will also unveil the game's next major chapter, including the new zone, storyline, and other major features coming to the game's biggest update this year. So there's another expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. And then on top of that, there might be a fifth announcement, which might be a shadow drop of something. I don't know if they are. I'm just saying last year they had 4 announcements and they had the 5th one, which is Hi-Fi Rush that came out. So do you think, maybe Sarge, I'm not asking you for a game, but do you think they do another shadow drop this year?
I think it's probably in their best interest to show that they got some stuff in the pipeline that they're willing to like just drop on you because it's done, right? Because let's be honest, the internet is usually the best advertisement, and they're free. So if something comes out and it's cool, people are going to talk about it. So it gets word of mouth real quick now. It's not like the old days where word of mouth came from the bus stop or from the water cooler.
Right. Did you hear what Timmy did down the street?
If I play a cool game and I got a couple hundred people on the Twitter feed, I just send whatever to whoever and it goes everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
So shadow drop. I don't think we're going to be using the word shadow drop for much longer. I think it's basically just like the game's done, but we didn't have enough money for advertisement, so we're going to let you do it. I wouldn't call it a shadow drop. I'm just going to call it like, yeah, we spent all the money on the game. We didn't have enough money for the advertisement, so we're going to do it this way. Like that's basically what it comes down to.
I was going to go over a couple other things, but we're going to take some questions. Some of the things that we didn't talk about, I'm going to say real fast instead of going into deep more story, is RoboCop Rogue City update adding a highly requested feature, which is New Game Plus. I said that when I played the game. I was like, I feel like they need a New Game Plus or add some other content into this. So because it was successful, hey, they're adding a RoboCop New Game Plus. So RoboCop Rogue City is getting an update there. We talked about the game called Quindfall. I've been doing, we watched and reacted to Asmongold for 2 days back to back. A creator named Nuon, I believe his name is. He did a video like 10 months ago. Asmongold did a response to it, and I watched it and watched him watch him. Right? It was like meta, right? But it was about a MMO that was made in less than a year, and that they're using every single asset known to man from the Unreal Engine store or Unity store. And when we thought that was it, literally the next day, Nuon made another video, and then Asmongold reacted to that video, and then dove deeper into the story. Okay, so if you missed that, go watch Asmongold, go watch my content, whatever, and showed that not only is the game probably not real, but their business of operation, they had a Photoshop of a thing that they use for their business. It's linked to a site that does resales for gold and whatnot. It's supposed to be a free-to-play game, and they're going to be selling you gold. It's this whole thing that went down the rabbit hole, and basically they didn't make anything. So if you want to know more about that, go check that out. That's Quindfall. Watch out for Quindfall. Another thing that we're not going to talk about in depth is Fallout London team has big plans for the future. So this looks impressive, right? Fallout London, which is a mod. Okay, a full-fledged mod with like amazing.
Yeah, but I've been following that for years.
Yeah.
Is it finally done?
It's almost done. It says Fallout London, a total conversion mod of Fallout 4 will release on April 23rd in a set post-apocalyptic London in 2237. The team behind the mod is inspired by Forgotten City and is interested in developing a new game after Fallout London. And Team Fallen hopes to continue the independent game studio following the success of Modern Storyteller, developer of Forgotten City. So they're coming out later this year on April 23rd. So if you like Fallout, they made a complete and other mod, separate standalone game within the Fallout game. They convert Fallout 4 into London. So that's pretty impressive. One thing I forgot to talk about with Suicide Squad is the Flash battle that happened, right? And the IGN interview that happened, or they took small group of people, invited them to go play the game at WB, and IGN was one of them that went out there. Destin did the interview, all right, or the review, and I thought he was just, it was almost like he was reviewing a game that was out instead of just reviewing the preview of the game, okay? He came out swinging at the fences, okay, and made some absurd, like, claims of stuff, okay? So inside the interview that he talked about, he started off by saying that this is not the Batman game he was looking for this Christmas, okay? And it's not a Batman game, so going in right off the bat thinking it was that, you're already down, right? 2, he said that Poison Ivy has a bomb in her head, and this is like children's slavery, right? And I'm like, I don't know why you did that. It's a fantasy character. He said that the Flash was too fast, and that there was a Fortnite battle bus. The things that he didn't mention in his review were things like there's an emote wheel that you can use. There's notorious weapons that you found out from other users that were doing it. There's different builds that you can do. There's no weapon grades at all. There's no day or night cycle. He should have said there was a day. He didn't mention anything about that. So there's a day and night cycle that you can do. There's an offline mode. There's a whole bunch of stuff he could have said, but he didn't say any of this. And he just really shat on the stuff. He said during the actual thing, he's like, this is not my footage, but he said, while I was going around the map, I got hit out of nowhere, and people broke it down, and they saw that the thing that he didn't get hit by, he ran into an actual object in the middle of the map, which was Poison Ivy's big flower that's hanging in the middle of the map. You can't touch those because they're obstacles as you're traversing through the world. And then he says, I don't know how you're getting hit. And during the Flash fight, the footage that was provided, okay, was from the people that the PR team. It wasn't him playing it, but he did play the match. This just wasn't his footage. Right. He says, you don't know when you're being attacked. And meanwhile, someone paused it and you see the Flash like spinning, and he goes like this, and you see like a big lightning bolt coming. There's like this big flash that comes around, and then there's like this lightning bolt that comes and hits him. And then he gets hit. He's like, I don't know where you're getting hit from. And it's hard to see stuff. And it's like,
he might be, I'm being honest now, because I'm an old guy, right? He might be too old to play the game.
Maybe, right?
When you say stuff like, I don't know where I'm getting hit by, that's an old man line. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I'm getting hit by something. Like, you know, you've been playing video games forever. Like, you know what's coming. What am I playing? It's a boss battle. It's usually a timer. It's usually some kind of randomized attack, whether it be A, B, or C. Well, is it going to be an AOE, a direct attack? Is there a warm up? Is there like a power up? Like, there's a whole list of stuff. He's just talking to talk.
Well, he missed something in his Flash. He said, I don't know how. The Flash just runs around, and you don't know where he is. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He runs around, and you don't know where he is, and then you just have to wait till he stops and then unpale on him. And then I watched this other guy that also went to the event, and his channel is called Comic Historian, and he went into much more detail about the Flash fight and said that
what actually happens.
Yeah, you have to get, and let me find out the name of it. It's the Speed Force bullet. Okay, you have to use Speed Force bullets to slow down. So this is part of the story, right? So you need these bullets to shoot at Flash to slow him down, so you can make him stand still long enough so you can do damage. Okay. So what I saw with all the footage is it's a damage phase. So he's running around. You're supposed to survive the damage phase. Okay. And then once not the damage phase, the defense phase, right? Dodge the tornadoes. Don't get hit by Flash. Make sure you're constantly moving. It's very chaotic. And then when you shoot him and get him down enough, he stops in his location, and then you pile on him. This is called a phase. Okay? So the mechanics seem pretty solid to me of the footage that I watched. And I think he was just being a little too, cynical, I guess. I mean, I don't know how you go into an event hating something before you even play it. You know?
But he didn't describe the game.
He didn't
He
do
described
it.
the game that he did. He described the game that wasn't there.
So that was the problem there. Other people came out and started explaining certain things and whatnot. There was also in his video, which I thought was pretty funny. I made a comment. I made a clip of it and stuff. He's talking about, the shooting mechanics, and it didn't feel good. And he shows a shot of him shooting the ground like 6 times. And then literally right after that, same scene, he shoots to the right of the character like 4 times. And then he finally lands shots. And my question is, did you look at your edit before you loaded this up on the YouTube? Like, out of all the footage you captured, this was his footage at this moment. He could have not put that material in there, because to say that it decredits what you're saying because you're showing me footage.
No, you don't need to tell me anything else. He's too old for the game.
Right.
If you can't aim your cursor at the enemy on the screen, I don't know what you're talking about at this point.
Do you want to see what? Let me show you.
But wait, he said it wasn't his footage though, right?
No, this at this moment, this was his footage. At this moment, this was his footage.
He admitted that's his footage?
Yeah, let me show you. Let me bring this up on here. Okay. This is my comment live that morning when we saw it. Okay. This is me commenting on him. Now look where this is. Look where this is. Okay. Right? What are you shooting at?
Dead shot in
And then what are you shooting at over here?
my case.
And then you finally made it.
After
Look,
that, we jumped straight into chat.
look
Yeah,
where he's
Great
shooting.
gamer.
after 3 where I tried out
Watch.
shark because
It's gonna reload. Look at. What are you shooting? He's shooting, and he shoots like 7 bullets into the ground here. Okay, 7 bullets into the ground. Okay. Yeah.
dead shot.
Okay?
in
And
my-
then like 4 or 5 more off to the side to the right, and then finally hits the guy. And I'm like, what is happening here? Hey, Paul in chat says the game auto aims for you also. Right. It also
hand-eye coordination is not looking good.
Right. The auto aim. There's
not looking good.
There's auto aim.
Hand-eye coordination not looking good.
I'm just saying, as a YouTuber, you're editing your video. Why would you put that in there? Don't you look at your footage? Use some good shots if you landed on people, for God's sakes, right? Don't give more ammunition for people to shit on your stuff when that stuff's happening down. I don't know. That's just me maybe nitpicking on him. I don't feel bad for him. I mean, you put yourself in that position, and when you say stupid shit, I say stupid shit all the time, right? But I just have the flash too fast. He said it wasn't hard. It was just frustrating, is what he said.
Yeah, okay, but the comment alone makes my brain stop listening to him. When your words out of your mouth are, the flash is too fast, right? My immediate answer as a gamer is get good, right? After that, it's like, then I guess you're too old to play the game. Like, do you want like Flash in a walker and like he's crawling around the map? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? How did you think the boss battle was gonna go with Flash? Right? Why don't you riddle me this, Batman, who didn't get the Batman game that he wanted? Like, how would you do a Flash battle? Right? Get back to me on that one.
Right. I think that this is the way and one of the guys, a comic historian, said that it reminded him of a Mega Man fight. And I was like, ooh, like that sounds good. Right?
Where you have to have the right weapon in order to kill the guy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a more complicated version of paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah. Right. So
yeah, I don't even know how to begin the conversation. It's like, do I have to do some kind of? Do I have to look up Wikipedia on like on Destin and like what he does in his life, like what he's done? Like I understand now he's a father, right? He has a family, has a wife. Like it's okay to stop playing games, bro. it's okay. Like people phase out. You got to go on to some different chapter of your life. Like that's completely cool. No one's hating on him. I'm not hating on him.
He's got a very successful YouTube channel.
Right, he's very successful, but to come out and say these words in an industry that you're actually existing in front of other gamers makes no sense. Like you have to censor yourself, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Censor yourself.
here's one more thing Lejeune said. Lejeune's a good kid. He was he played Marvel's Avengers and did a lot of build videos. He actually was one of the only people to say this on his stream. Lejeune said that there's a mode, not a mode, but there's a feature in the game. I don't understand how this works, but this is what he said. He said if you're playing by yourself and you want to, let's say you're working, Sarge, and you can't play with me, right? But you want to level up your Harley Quinn or you want to level up your King Shark, I can invite your character and bring it into my game. Okay.
What?
So if I want my King Shark to be your King Shark, I bring your King Shark into the game, and now I'm playing with bots. They're all bots. And now I'm playing through the campaign or I'm playing through the stuff. And any kind of
is it always 4 people then regardless?
I don't know that answer. I think it is.
Okay.
I think it's always you and 3 bots. Yeah. Because you
Okay.
could yes, it is. I do know that answer. Because you can
Okay.
swap between them at any time. Okay. Now I don't know how that's gonna work. Because if I'm playing the bots and it's your King Shark and I'm playing and a gun drops, you get that gun when you log in later. Okay.
What?
Which I think is pretty cool.
So I don't even have to play the game?
But you have to have friends that play the game, and you can get gear. Yeah, you don't get leveled up. You're just getting the gear, right? Remember, there's no gear score. There's no gear level. So you get the gun, but you still have to level up your character. Your character's not being leveled up, but you get the rewards for your character, right? So
Okay.
I don't know how that's going to work, but that's what he said, that it's in the game and people can use so if I want to, Krebsy's one of my guys, Dolphin's one of my guys, and you're one of my guys. But when I switch that character, am I using my shark at that point? And then does it kick your guy? I don't understand how that works. There's a lot of behind the scenes that I don't understand if that's the way it works, but that's what it says. So real quick, the last 10 minutes of the show, anybody that's a member, I'm not going to make it a members only. I'm going to leave it open to members and everyone else, okay? But if you're a member, you want to ask us questions, I'll take the questions from members in chat. It'll be a little perk for people. Everyone can be here, watch, stay, talk, and chat, but we'll accept questions from members. So if you have a question, just put Q in front or at 30 so I can see it in chat, and you can ask me or Sarge a question. It could be with any of the topics that we talked about tonight or just in general. We'll just hang out for a couple more minutes, get some questions from you guys.
But why would you want to use my shark instead of your own shark?
I'm not sure. Again, you remember, if I'm not using my shark, I'm not leveling up my shark. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you only level your characters up that you're using.
But you said that you're switching between the guys anytime you want. So
Correct.
aren't you using your own guys anyway?
Yes, yeah, but you have to physically be that person to gain XP to get the skill points. If I'm using Harley and I'm leveling up and I'm shooting things and getting XP, then I'm just leveling her up for the XP that I'm killing things. My other characters, my other bots are not getting XP for that.
But the other bots are yours.
Correct, but they're not getting
characters?
XP unless you physically are using them.
Physically. Okay.
So, for instance,
Yeah.
there's 100 guys on the screen.
I get
Let
it.
me explain to you. If there's 100 guys on the
get it.
screen, I'm using King Shark and I kill 25 of the guys. I get experience for 25 of the guys. Then I switch to Harley and I kill 25 guys. Shark is no longer getting XP for the other 25 guys that got killed. Harley's now getting the 25 XP per kill or whatever for the guys that she's killing.
Interesting. I mean, I guess if you're going for gear and your buddy's not around, I mean, it's interesting. Because otherwise, now that you mention it, it would have to be that way. Because if I could get XP for guys that I wasn't controlling, that I would never invite your friend's guy in. I would just level up. My own
Right, so
guy.
you just level up your own guy. Right. We have a question from Dupless. Dupless says, is Everwild still a thing? I don't know if Everwild. It looked pretty cool when they showed it, but we didn't know what it was. And maybe it's still a thing. Maybe it's on the back burner. Lots of games get canceled without everyone saying anything. This is why I say never tell us anything until it's official. Let's see. Magic Dolphin says, question. That was my question. So if you're doing work for a person, that's pointless in a way. I don't think it's pointless. I think it's more being friendly, right? Because if you're bringing Sarge's character in, and Sarge's like, man, I'm really looking. Again, I don't know if this is how the game works, but let's say Flash does a drop. Okay, a boss fight. I could do the boss fight by myself. I don't need other people to do the boss fight for me, right? I could be single player, play the boss fight, and Sarge is like, oh man, I'm working today. Are you running Flash today? Yeah, I'm going to be running Flash. Can you take my King Shark character because I'm looking for that drop of whatever he drops. I don't know what he drops, right? I'm looking for that mod. I'll be like, yeah, sure. So I bring his character in. I do the actual. It's not like I'm going to be switching characters in the middle of the battle, right? I'm going to be using that character, and then his character's there, and he gets the drops. I think that's okay. I think that's a good thing.
Okay, but let's go a little further.
Okay.
Right. So what happens if you have my King Shark in your game, and then you switch over to my King Shark? Is King Shark now getting XP?
This is what I don't understand. Maybe what happens is you bring in a couple of people, and then like if I switch to him, then yours comes. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works.
I don't want to I'm not going to poke the barrel with like.
I just don't know. If I had the answer for that, I would tell you.
I get it.
Paul Gaming says, question, going to try the Prince of Persia demo. It sold me on the game. I watched someone play it. It didn't sell me on the game, but I saw the demo, and I think I'm going to download it to try it myself because I think it's one of those games that I think I want to try, and if I like it, I think I might pick it up. I was just talking to Sarge about it beforehand. I was like, you going to pick up Prince of Persia? He's like, nah, not really. I said, it's a demo, so I might pick it up, but I don't know if I have time. If I pick it up, I might, because it's a pretty chunky game, isn't it? It's not just a side-scroller type of game you're going to finish in 8 hours. I think it's a pretty chunky game. I'm really just kind of leaving everything open right now for Suicide Squad. I'm going hard into Suicide Squad. So, Dolphin says, good point. Making you holla. Yeah, I don't understand how that's going to work though. It sounds like a cool thing, but it's a 20-hour game. Okay, 20 hours. If I do that, I do 3 hours a night. That's going to take me to 3 days a week. That's going to take me to 2 weeks. And right now we're on the cusp. Like I'm done this week. And then I play on Monday. I can play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. That will take me 9 hours. And then the following week, maybe I could squeeze it in before. I don't know. I don't want to like rush through a game. Dave Langer says, 30 question. What character do you want to see added to Suicide Squads for DLC? I mean, I would like to see. I'm more interested. Okay. Miller posted some stuff. I won't say it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. If you want spoilers, you can go look it up yourself. But some of the stuff he's saying for traversal for some of the characters that's coming to the game, I'm like, that sounds amazing. And I'm looking forward to some of the characters that they may or may not bring into the game. I would say, and this is not me knowing if there's a character. I'd be interested to see if they bring like Bane into the game, right? And what he would do and like what his traversal is, or if they bring like Polka Dot Man comes in and what his abilities are, throwing polka dots everywhere. And is his teleportation to get a traversal to get around the world? Does he throw a dot on the ground and go through it and get through the other side? I don't know. Like that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested to see what type of characters they're going to bring in and how they're going to implement the traversal in the game. I would take Bane, like Killer Croc, Black Manta. Who else? I mean,
at this point, are you doing the Legion of Doom?
I mean, you can. Why not?
I mean, that to me would be the ultimate gas game. Is the Legion of Doom versus the Justice League? Like that's what you would do.
Well, supposedly there is a game mode coming in season 2 that's going to be a PvPvE, sort of like, or I think it's a 4v4v4.
Like unlock the Legion of Doom and then unlock that sounds amazing, doesn't it?
You race against the other teams and you also fight the other team. But I don't know if they add a PvP into this game of Suicide Squad. I don't want them to add a straight up PvP because then you have to balance the weapons, and if they balance the weapons and they fucks the game, and then you have Destiny all over again, right? You're balancing weapons.
Yeah, but Destiny doesn't care about their PvP anyway. They're going to make Marathon and make you care about that, so don't worry about it.
Well, Water, I can answer that question. I can't lie to you, so I'm not going to answer that question because what you just asked, there's an answer for that, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Even though the thing's lifted, you're not going to say it?
No, it's a rumor, but I don't want to ruin it for people. His question, or not question, but he's saying Joker was a part of the Suicide Squad, but he's dead until he's not, and that's all I'll say.
I mean,
I could tell you off stream, Sarge. I'll love to answer these things when we have Miller on. I'm gonna have Miller on the 24th or 25th. Either GXG will move to Wednesday, or the interview will be on Wednesday, right? So, because I don't know what his schedule's like, if he can do Wednesday or if he can do Thursday. But one of those days, on the 24th or 25th, Miller will be here, and we'll get to know Miller. I'll ask him about his gaming, how he got into gaming and whatnot, and then we'll ask him a bunch of questions for Suicide Squad, even though all of his stuff that he's said is out there on the Twitterverse. You can see it and read it and stuff like that. It's pretty exciting. And I'm excited because I trust Miller. And Miller, lots of people make up shit. But he says shit and then proves the shit. And then it comes out, or if it doesn't come out, Crystal Dynamics fucked it up, and that's why it didn't come out. But Rocksteady's got their shit together, I believe, with this game. It's gonna be pretty wicked if it all comes true. I'm excited. Not as excited as I am for Transformers Reactivate, but I'm excited.
Don't put too many eggs in that basket, bro.
Transformers Reactivate?
It's easy. It's easy to fuck up a Transformer game.
I just want a Transformers game.
Easy to fuck up that game.
All right. Any more questions?
Won't take but a minute.
Any more questions, chat? Don't have any more questions. Generation X Gaming episode 378 is in the can. We do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us each and every single week. We're here Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. A few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. We are trying to get to 5,000 members or subscribers, not members, sorry, subscribers this year on our YouTube channel. That is my 2024 goal, to go from the 1,700, or I think we have 1,700 now, to 5,000. That's my end of the year goal that I'm looking to get to. So if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate you very much. Krebsy says, yes, he did. Didn't read mine. Which one, Dupless? Oh, yeah, I read the Everwild one. I did that. Yeah, I answered you. I'll answer you again. I don't know. I think it might be canceled, but who knows? Cool thing, yes. It's Games Rare. It's working on it right now. Yeah, I just don't know. We don't know anything about it. We don't know anything about it from what we learned last time about it. So, appreciate you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.